goes after the first one, a fly ball deep center, and a 3-run first-inning homer.
His 8th of the season. It's 3-0 Miami here in the first.
Yeah, I mean, it's, stuff that I thought I could get through, and I don't want to use it as an excuse, so I'm not gonna, but the results are not where I want them to be, so it's not fair to the team to keep doing that 3 times in a row, no chance to win. So I don't want the story to be that every time I pitch. I want to be great and take some time and get my body good and get my arm right, get my stuff back.
Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's the Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 201. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. And these cameras are on, apparently. Are we on?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're
live.
Yeah.
I'm trying
Feels
to find
weird.
it here. I don't see us even on the air right now. Are we even alive right now, Anthony?
Is that one of those deeper questions about whether or not we actually exist, or?
Yeah. Very philosophical approach to the day.
Sounds like you.
Yeah, totally. We're not making things up here.
No.
No.
Oh, I hope everybody had a great 4th of July, unless you watched the Cardinals.
That was awful.
Dude.
Not what you said, their performance.
Yeah, thank you. Marsh, you know how bad it was? Marsh was, they replay it on Bally Sports Midwest.
Yeah.
And we have Bally Sports Midwest on in the office. Their performance was so bad that Marsh walked in at one point recently, within the last 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And he goes, huh! Because he saw they were still down 15-0.
PTSD.
Yep, a little bit. Let's talk about Adam Wainwright.
Let's talk about it yesterday. Let's talk about the 4th of July instead, Anthony.
What did you guys do?
So
This guy's got a new Speedo.
I do the Freedom Bird, Anthony.
The Freedom Bird.
Everybody should have a little bit of the Freedom Bird.
That bird isn't free.
It sure is, Anthony.
Not on yours. not on your Speedo.
No. Very liberating, though, however. I'm at the party yesterday. Have a nice little get-together with some great friends. And I'm in and out of, watching the Cardinals. They're kind of on the TV in the background. And at one point, my kids, who don't really watch baseball, my boys are sitting there like, Dad, you got to see this crap. Alec Burleson's back on the bump again.
Unreal.
I'm like, this guy is Bob Gibson.
Strom every day.
He's every day, that guy. What a machine. It's unfortunate we had to see him, though.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, not because I don't like looking at Burley. He's got that chest hair, Anthony. The gold chain.
Yeah.
He's got that rugged, Yellowstone look to him.
I'd put him in the rotation.
Let's go. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? A lot went wrong yesterday for Adam Wainwright. An absolute epic disaster again for Waino. We talked about it last start. We feel bad. I mean, this is a Cardinals legend that has done so much for the organization. He's done so much for the community. He's done so much for the city. He gives back. The Big League Impact charity that he has done so much for people worldwide. I mean, Adam Wainwright is the epitome of what you want out of a player that's going to play a long time for your organization. And I know he was acquired by the Braves, but he grew up essentially in this Cardinals organization. Winds up winning a World Series, was on the roster. He's hurt though the other time. Went to another World Series in 2013. Has absolutely battled through injuries, whether it was his arm, his ankle the one time. We thought he was going to be done a long time ago. He battles through, and then he just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it anymore. So he was placed on the IL. He owns a 7.66 ERA and a 1.99 WHIP over 51 2/3 innings in his last 11 starts this year. Here's the other statistic. He's allowed at least 6 runs in 3 consecutive starts since June 24th.
That's terrible. Not great. It's unfortunate.
So they place him on the IL with we have cameras.
Yeah.
Shoulder injury. What else are you going to do?
Well, I guess the way I look at it is I understand how I understand how you do this as an organization. You have to. I mean, at some point, you can't just keep rolling out the same player over and over again. I just wish they would have worded it a little different. Like, he tweaked something today, he's going on the IL. Because we go back now, they say, it's been nagging at him.
Jamie, you can't put confidence down as an injury. You got to go with a body part.
Anthony, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh.
What I'm saying is that you could say he tweaked something during yesterday's start. Because now you go back and, Waino, he's a very positive-minded individual. He's on these airwaves, Bally Sports airwaves, talking about how great he feels and he's good and, there's a streak about to happen and it's coming. And now you're telling people he's been nursing injuries like all year long. I get it. It's not that big of a deal. I'm thinking more of like for Waino. Mm-hmm. Not that I care about how they've worded this, whatnot. For me, I think of the athlete.
Yeah.
And I think of like, how would I feel if this was kind of happening to me? It would suck. We've talked about this. Your brain never wants to believe that this is actually happening. But, I'd rather not have it be something where people are like, well, you said you were fine all year. And your Cardinals said you were fine all year. And now you're hurt. You've been hurt all year. Like, which one is it?
Everybody knows.
I know, but I don't like it.
At the end of the day, the team can't score runs for him anyways.
Oh, Anthony, don't say it.
Position
Don't
players.
say it.
He could have gave up one run yesterday. It wouldn't have mattered.
I actually don't know what snark you're referring to.
You know what you say when teams don't score runs.
Oh, they don't like you.
See, terrible.
I wasn't even thinking it.
Not like him then.
I wasn't thinking it. Oh, you like Jordan Montgomery for a while there. He must have done something.
He finally took the boys out for dinner, I think. And they're like, all right, we'll go get him some runs.
Right.
Even the bullpen is like, let's make this look worse than it was.
Yeah. Marsh, are you really going the route of they didn't even score runs?
I mean, they didn't. Not that they didn't score runs for him.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if he did have a solid outing, it wouldn't have mattered because this offense can't score.
Yeah.
They've scored 2 runs in his past 2 starts, and both of them were off a position player in the 9th inning.
Hey, that guy's got some smoke.
He's throwing 44 miles per hour,
Okay.
Anthony.
Well, he's below hitting speed, isn't he? He's below hitting speed. Let me look at this, though. Over the last, how far you want to go back, Marsh? You want to go back 2 weeks?
Let's go back to...
You want to go back to the 24th? Let's go back to the 24th.
You pick a date, Anthony. It's your show.
Wow. All right. Let's go back to the 24th because that was the date that I mentioned he's allowed at least 6 runs in 3 consecutive starts. That's since June 24th. All right. We're going to do a live experiment on air. Never a good idea. But I just want to see where the offense is over that span. All right. So let's look at FanGraphs here. We'll customize this. And I'm just interested to see where the offense has been over that span. So we'll just use one metric. We'll use WRC plus because I can't find Will Bacon right now.
It's fine.
And the Cardinals are 12th with 111. So closer to average than good. The problem's the pitching. The bullpen has been an absolute disaster because they're gassed. They're done. The bullpen has gone through. I mean, all these guys are going to have to spend time on the IL. Gallegos was placed. He wasn't placed, but he's dealing with the stomach problem now. We know that Helsley's on the IL. Jordan Hicks saw some time on the IL as well. This bullpen is gassed. And we'll get to some of the moves that the Cardinals made in the upcoming segment. But the bullpen hasn't been good. Wainwright, unfortunately, has been dreadful the last 3 starts. Matthew Liberatore hasn't been good. He's starting today against Miami. I thought maybe it'd be Dakota Hudson or Zach Thompson. Instead, they're going to go with Matthew Liberatore. I don't think the offense in the last couple of weeks has been the problem. The whole team stinks. It does. The whole team stinks. We had made the reference last week. It's Weekend at Bernie's.
It is, Anthony.
And Jamie.
Are you saying that movie stinks?
No, the movie's great.
Okay, I've heard mixed reviews.
It's award-winning.
It won an Oscar.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, won.
Like
I think I remember you saying that.
I think best score.
Really?
Best theatrical something.
Yeah, and Bernie himself was one of the best performances ever.
Absolutely.
By a person who's not actually dead.
Right. Mm-hmm. However, in the theme of the movie, Weekend at Bernie's, I think it's Mo on one side, and I guess Gersh on the other. And Bernie, that's your Cardinals this season.
Oh, man.
I wish I knew what that meant.
You got to check it out, Marshy.
You had a long weekend. Did you not watch it?
I didn't watch it.
You
No.
didn't watch one or two?
I was too busy watching all these Cardinal games, Anthony.
No,
Why?
now you're lying. Now you're lying.
Why?
Now that just disgusts me. Marshy, he lied right to us.
Are you kidding me?
He right to our faces.
At least tell us you had a big moment in MLB The Show. You had a big game, big weekend series against the Yankees or something.
The Yankees.
I went to like a barbecue. I did play the show at one point.
You had plenty of time to watch Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah,
Either way,
I mean, I absolutely did. I just didn't watch it.
Okay, either way.
I'm being honest about that.
All right, well, we appreciate your honesty. It's the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
They're Bernie.
Yeah.
And it's Mo trying to hold him up, and Gersh trying to hold him up, saying, no, he's not dead.
Fine.
Oh,
We got lots of baseball left.
Yeah, he's very dead.
We have
He's
plenty
dead.
of time to find our consistency.
You're propping this guy. You're propping your team up right now. That team's been dead on arrival since April.
That is not true. That is not true.
Nice April. What'd you win? 7 games?
May was good.
Ish.
Ish.
May was good. Ish.
That
All right.
Braves series.
Well, you swept the Dodgers at one point.
It was an illusion.
Yeah, exactly. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We appreciate you joining us, whether it's via the radio or on our new YouTube channel.
Yeah, baby.
It's day one. And I got to say, this feels weird to be watched like this. We have a little window outside of our studio, and people sometimes, they'll be given like tours, like the sales team will be given tours and stuff. Sometimes they'll just stop and then they'll start pointing. I thought we were kind of in a zoo that way. Now, I feel like we're still in that zoo, but now there's a camera.
Mm-hmm. That happened on Friday, actually.
What?
People were waving at us. They're like, look at that guy, Anthony Stalter.
Yeah.
Were they?
Pointing at you.
Now we can't do the usual gestures that we like to give.
Oh, sure we can.
We should actually probably go over some ground rules with Ryder about what we can and cannot do.
No, we can do anything as far as I'm told.
To the camera?
Yeah. I mean, I don't do it to the camera.
I always know when
At the
Ryder...
camera?
Yeah.
When Ryder has the cue speaker down a little bit because we're looking at him
And
in
he
the
panics.
studio and he leans forward. He's like, these guys are talking about me. Ryder, can we do anything to these cameras? Gestures and things like that? He just mouthed what
says what
kind.
kind.
You
Don't
know,
worry.
You know what kind.
You'll find out.
Yeah. All right, it's a Fast Line on 101 ESPN. We'll get clarity on that. Cardinals made some moves. Matthew Liberatore will start tonight, but we'll talk about the rotation, Waino's immediate future, and dive into whether or not a youth movement might be coming at some point. That's next in the Fast Line on 101 ESPN.
If you're in the market for a brand new vehicle or pre-owned vehicle, there really is no other place to visit than Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. We know the Londoff family has been in business for over 80 years now, and they provide fantastic customer service to anybody who walks through those doors. And as far as walking through the doors, now you can do it in 2 different locations. They have the original Johnny Londoff Chevrolet out there in Florissant, Missouri, as well as the new Londoff Autoplex located out in St. Peters, Missouri, right off of Highway 70. Walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They're going to look to help you as much as they possibly can. They're going to make it stress-free for you. They're going to provide you with either a great brand new vehicle or a great pre-owned vehicle, and the experience that you go through is exactly why I'm telling you to go to Londoff Chevrolet. They treat everybody like family. I have been a customer for over 20 years now and a friend of the family, and I will go nowhere else but Londoff Chevrolet. So please, again, visit them at either location or visit them online at londoff.com or londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
You look at our ability to string together games, it's going to come down to pitching. It just will. You can't slug your way out of what we're dealing with at the moment. So, yeah.
That's Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol talking about the pitching struggles from really all season, but last night, yesterday specifically, as Adam Wainwright was torched by a Marlins offense that certainly had some pop. I mean, obviously with Luis Ariz doing his thing, the Marlins are not they're not dangerous, but they're not, swinging a wet newspaper either. But Adam Wainwright charged with 7 runs, 4 earned over 3 1/3 innings yesterday, and that lost to the Marlins. Served up a 3-run homer to Jesus Sanchez in the opening frame, solo shot to Garrett Cooper, and then left in the 4th inning. He did retire, I think, at one point 7 straight batters, but certainly didn't feel like that after all the missiles that were aimed at the outfielders and, basically anybody standing on the left side of the infield. But we really didn't dive into this in the first segment, Jamie. What's his immediate future? He goes on the IL. He's still 2 wins away from 200, which, as we know, would certainly mean a lot to his career. It's a lost season. To me, we have not seen the last of Wainwright. You still have a whole half of a season left. All-Star break is next week. This gets you through you get a pause, gets you through the All-Star break. But I don't think that we have seen the last of Wainwright this year. I think he gets another 5 starts at some point to try to get to 200.
Yeah, I agree. Look, here's the thing. If he's going through some injuries, or even if he's not, even if he's just got to get back to the drawing board and kind of figure things out a little bit here, Adam Wainwright will get another chance. He'll get another chance, and, why wouldn't he? At this point, you're not in a playoff hunt. Your organization, if nothing else, owes it to the individual to give him a chance to fight his way through this. He's done that before. He was a write-off, a handful of years ago, where they said, oh, that was it. Waino probably pitched his last game, and he went on to pitch another, how many years after that?
I don't know. 1 million.
No, not 1 million. Close, Anthony. Good guess. I'm surprised you didn't say a different number. the one you always go to.
I went to it once.
Yeah, it was a bad time for it. But Waino is going to have to put some work in, though. I don't know what the work consists of. I don't know if there is anything he can do. If the injuries are true, then yes, there's something he can do to work through that and to get some help through that. If the injuries aren't as severe as it seems, then Waino's got to figure something out. Because he's going to want another opportunity. I would. This is not the way I'd want to go out. Not ever. I'd be like, no, give me the damn ball back.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it leads to, but I definitely agree with you. I think he'll get another opportunity.
Well, in the meantime, John Denton of MLB.com tweeted out that the Cardinals recall catcher Ivan Herrera, pitchers Dakota Hudson and Zach Thompson. Hudson was a candidate to start tonight, but he won't. It's going to be Matthew Liberatore in the final game against Miami. Wainwright, shoulder injury, and then Andrew Kisner, who suffered a groin injury. They were both placed on the IL. And then James Nail, who had a rough outing too. He was optioned to Memphis. I don't want to make this just about James Nail. It's not. But do you have any live arms in this system anymore? Do you have any live? Does anybody come up and throw 95, 96? I feel like you watch any other team. Somebody's throwing 98 to a hundo.
Well, what was
out
that?
Of the pen.
The one guy we brought up start of the season, Zaninga.
Yeah.
He had the heater.
I don't know.
We haven't seen him since.
Did you go to the gas station? Did you check the milk carton for him?
I don't know. I have no idea of his whereabouts, Anthony. I just know that he's the one guy who was called up that had some rocket fuel. Mm-hmm. And I mean, did we even see him?
You saw him for a brief,
like a split second.
He struck out Mike Trout, and then they sent him down. And you haven't seen him since.
Oh, yeah, he's too good.
Is that really what happened?
He struck out Mike Trout.
Oh my God!
He said, "We can't have this." No,
I'm like 99.9% positive that was his last outing was against the Angels.
Either way, that's one guy.
Unacceptable.
That's one guy. I'm not saying everything has to be about the radar gun, but you've got a lot of soft tossing right-handers. You got a lot of guys that are just,
Who's your flamethrower right now?
In the bullpen?
No, anywhere, period.
Well, that's true because there's no flamethrower in the rotation.
That's what I'm saying.
Genesis Cabrera and Jordan Hicks.
Okay. But they're
Jordan Hicks, obviously.
But you're getting them at minimal amount of time because they're both out of the bullpen.
Correct.
So you don't have a flamethrower at all in your organization. Who's down in the minors right now that's supposed to be up there?
Tink Hens is your best prospect.
Yeah, and he just continues, his ERA just continues to drop and drop. And I know he's in Springfield now.
He's in Double-A.
Be a hell of a jump to try and get to the majors at this point, and I don't think it's the right time to do that to the young man.
Right.
But that being said, you don't have them. You've got all these pitch-to-contact type pitchers, and I think that's a big mistake too. I think you should always have contrast. It's like if you're building a hockey team, you got a couple of skilled players. You better have some blue collar guys too to counterbalance that a little bit. If you're going to have, an offensive defenseman, you're probably going to play him with a defensive guy so that there's a balance there.
Yeah.
If you're in a pitching staff, you can't have 5 pitch to contact guys, 6, 7, 8. We'll go 8, 9 deep at this point, and they're pitch to contact guys.
Yeah.
You got to have a couple of guys that throw gas. Like Flaherty used to be that guy, but his velo's down now. I know 95, 96, whatever that is. I mean, it's in a great range, but give me a guy that gets it up to the 99, 100 every now and then.
Well, okay, so my point in this is that if you go from Wainwright, who's throwing 83, and Wainwright is an extreme example, but you have Wainwright going out there for 4 innings. And then at some point you flip the script and you go with, a James Nail or whoever. Miami's just sitting back. And Miami has been a pretty much a league average offense. They're sitting back, they're waiting on your off-speed stuff, and they're hammering it. And your defense has not been good enough this year. So that's one statement, right? Like, period, end of story. The defense has not been good. But when you're out there and it's piss rockets every single second because you're all pitch to contact guys, you have to. To your point, you have to vary it up a little bit.
Got to be some kind of a difference.
You can't tell me the St. Louis Cardinals they don't have multiple guys that can come up and miss bats. Like, this is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And we'll see what happens with guys like Tink Hence and Gordon Graceffo and Michael McGreevy. Brought up Zach Thompson. We'll see if he gets his shot maybe to start at some point. That'd be nice.
Yeah,
considering you
what
took
the
him
hell
out
are they
of your
going to do with
bullpen.
him?
Well, you took him out of your bullpen. He was pitching well. You take him out of the pen, send him down to Memphis because you want him to get stretched out. You bring him up, then now you're starting Liberatore. At some point, why don't you just give him a shot? You're not going anywhere.
Well, I would. Their plans or their strategy with Zach Thompson, it's been interesting. They put him into a spot last year where he found a groove, so much so that going into spring training this year, he's going to be one of your high leverage relievers. And then you're like, yeah, we're just kidding. Let's go back to the minors, which I'm sure he loved going back to the minors.
Right.
And now we're going to stretch him out, going to make him a rotation guy because we didn't acquire anybody in the offseason for 2 years in a row.
Bingo.
And we only have two guys, now down to one guy because Steven Matz is in the bullpen. So we got to somehow force feed another guy into this rotation. It's just not a great strategy.
Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We're going to talk to the newest Blue, Kevin Hayes. Blues acquired him last week from the Philadelphia Flyers. We'll talk to Kevin about the situation behind the scenes, what he was told, and how excited he is to be a Blue. That's all next on 101 ESPN.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals fall to the Marlins by a final score of 15-2 yesterday. They'll be back in action tonight. 5:40 first pitch. Matthew Liberatore taking the mound for the Cards. City SC takes down Colorado this weekend by a final score of 2-0. They'll be back in action Saturday, 6:30, taking on Toronto. And our newest Blue, Kevin Hay, joins the show next, so don't go anywhere. That's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
With former Blues defenseman Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Joining us right now is one of the latest Blues, acquired last week from the Philadelphia Flyers. It's Kevin Hayes. Kevin, we appreciate you joining us. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having me, guys.
Hazy, a lot going on in a very short period of time for you up there in Philly. And then I know I think you had your bachelor party. You're headed down to Nashville. Take us behind the scenes a little bit as to everything, the kind of the chaos leading up to the trade.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little hectic there before the trade. A couple of days, a bunch of rumors came out that I had been traded. I hadn't heard anything. And then it kind of went quiet 2 days later. So, I was out on the golf course and looked at my phone, had a bunch of missed calls. So I assumed something happened. And then Danny Briere called me, and then I talked to Army, and then I talked to my agent. So it all happened pretty quickly after a few hectic days. But like I told my agent, like I told the media, I couldn't be more excited to be part of the St. Louis Blues. I think it's an unbelievable organization. I don't know much about St. Louis because I've been in the East pretty much my whole career. But yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait to get to work.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kevin, they're going to love you. They love the blue-collar, lunch-pail type players, so you'll be definitely a favorite here quickly. But diving into the Blues organization, what do you know of the organization? Obviously not much about the city. You just described that, but what do you know specifically about this organization, and what in particular has you excited?
They won the Cup not too long ago.
Yeah, that'll work.
That's always in my hometown, too. I was in town for it. And so, I mean, any team that wins the Cup, is going to be dangerous for a lot of years to come. I do believe, like a lot of Blues fans know, and people in the organization last year definitely wasn't up to par to their standard, and they're very excited to get back to work and getting back to that winning way. And I think one of the big things for me is the mix between unreal young guys and great older guys on the team. I think that's a huge recipe for success in the new NHL. You can't win without young guys, and the Blues have those guys already on the team making an impact, and you need some veteran help, which I think I'll bring, and I think they already have as well.
Kevin Hayes joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Kevin, who on the Blues, when you played them over the last couple of years, who on the Blues always stood out? Who are the challenging guys to play with that are now going to be your teammates?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I played in the East, right, for pretty much my whole career, so I only get them twice a year. I did get a playoff series against someone I played for Winnipeg that one year after the trade deadline, but I mean, there's a lot of great guys. I was lucky enough to play with Pavel Buchnevich in New York, and the way that he has, the player that he's turned out to be has been super fun to watch. I mean, he's one of the better offensive guys in the league, and there's a lot of swagger to his game. And then you got guys like Kyrou and Thomas, who are these young guns coming up. And then you got the veteran guys that, I mean, Schenner, he's always tough to play against. I played against him when he was in Philly. I'm pretty close with Torrey Krug. I've known his game for a long time. So, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of guys I can name, but those are just some off the top of my head.
Kevin, look, it was a bit of a roller coaster ride for you in Philly. especially, you had some moments with the coaching staff and whatnot. Don't want to dwell on the past, but let's move into the future. You got Craig Berube now, who you just talked about. Look, he's a Stanley Cup champion coach, and quite honestly, from the players that I talk to on a regular basis, they really like Chief, and they respect him a lot. What are you looking forward to playing for Chief?
Yeah, we had a conversation yesterday. He said he's an honest coach. He demands a lot. He wants his players playing the right way. I've heard nothing but great things about him. Giroux reached out to me and said, "You're going to absolutely love Chief." A bunch of people have texted me, and they're saying, "Congrats on St. Louis. You're going to love Chief." So I'm super excited. I mean, I demand a lot from myself. I think last year, like you said, was a bit of a roller coaster. I had a career year. I went to the All-Star game, but never really felt like that. So I think kind of a change of scenery will do me wonders. And I've never really lost confidence in my game, and I'm very excited to get back at it with St. Louis.
Kevin Hayes joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 to ESPN. Kevin, from the teams that you have been a part of that have had success, what are the qualities that you have seen in those teams? And therefore, what do you think the Blues need to do in order to have success that they didn't have a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the NHL. I mean, you have injuries. Some guys have off years. But teams can bounce back very easily. That's what I've learned. I've been on teams that have struggled, and then all of a sudden we're one of the top teams in the league the next year, or vice versa. You're one of the top teams, and all of a sudden you're struggling. I think one of the biggest things is having a good goalie, and the Blues clearly have that with Binnington, and just making sure you have a team that has identity. Your teammates, your coaches, everyone in management needs to know what you bring to the rink every day, and that starts with team identity. One of the best pieces of advice I've gotten is be a consistent human, be a consistent player. Let everyone know that what they're going to get from you every day is not going to be there for 1 week or 1 month or 2 months or a few days. It's going to be there the whole year, and I think that's something that's stuck with me pretty much my whole career.
Kevin, you guys, you're related to the Tkachuk family, and obviously Big Walt is a fixture here in St. Louis, former teammate of mine, and Matthew and Brady are obviously they're stars in the NHL now. But when the trade went down, or right before the trade, did you have any chance to talk to Big Walt at all about the situation here in St. Louis?
Yeah, I actually, when Matthew heard the rumors, he texted me before I even got traded, and he literally said, "You're going to love the Lou. I'll let you know everything you need to know." And then as soon as I did get traded, I talked to Keith. He said, "You're going to love it here." I think it's going to be a lot easier having Big Walt there as my cousin to be able to lean on certain things. So, yeah, I mean, the Tkachuks, it's an impressive family. It really is. I've known Matthew and Brady pretty much my whole life, and it's been amazing and funny to watch their careers. Their dad is a Hall of Famer, and he used to ask my brother and I to give Matthew and Brady advice because they thought that we were the cool guys who were drafted in the NHL, and their dad didn't think their dad was any good. And now it's the complete opposite with their absolute studs in the league, and I'm probably going to start reaching out advice for them.
Kevin, one last thing for you here. When Blues fans who are listening right now and or get to know you as you get to training camp and whatnot, how would you describe your style of play? I know you're a puck possession guy, which Craig Berube will love that tremendously. But your style of play, when you're on your A game, what does it look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a playmaker that loves to possess the puck. I mean, I've had seasons where I've been – people have talked about my 200-foot game, and then all of a sudden last year people are saying that I can't play defense, and it's just – that stuff doesn't really bother me. I try to be a consistent player. I try to make players around me better. I'm a fun, personable guy who works hard and tries to make his teammates better, whoever I'm playing with. I try to possess the puck as much as I can. I try to help out with all different situations.
Kevin, we appreciate your time. I know that you're busy.
Oh, I
Jamie's
got one more for him here. Now we got to dive behind the curtain a little bit. So you're down in Nashville. It was your bachelor party, I believe, and you're hitting the golf course. Was Ryan Whitney on the golf course with you?
Yeah, he was.
Is he still using the foot wedge, and is he still Sammy Serious out there?
He is Sammy Serious. I tell him before we tee off pretty much every time, hey, good vibes only today. He's usually fun to play with. When he's playing bad, he gets a little angry, but I try to be a tough guy to be around when you're angry. I try to make sure that everyone's enjoying themselves.
Kevin, I know that you're an avid golfer, so who's the best current player that you've played with?
Brady Shea.
Wow, Brady Shea.
Wow.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He absolutely pounds the ball. I played around with him in Minnesota, where I think he shot 64.
Wow. That's a bit of a hidden gem there. I would not have picked him. I thought maybe some of the bigger names, like the Clayton Kellers, and I know that the Whit Dog, although he's not a current player, but Brady Shea, that's good to know. Now I know if I'm lined up on the golf course with him, he's going to take my money.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against him. Yeah.
Well, Kevin, we appreciate it. Best of luck. We know that you're excited to be here. We're certainly excited to watch you play, and hopefully get a chance to talk to you down the road, too.
I can't wait to get to St. Louis, figure out the city, get the ins and outs, know where to eat, know where to live. And, thank you guys for having me on, and I'm sure I'll see you soon, talk to you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. The boys here will hook you up. I know that great leadership group. They'll send you everywhere you need to go. And honestly, Kevin, they're going to love you here. Just play your game, man. You're going to do awesome.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. We'll see you.
See you guys.
That's Kevin Hayes, St. Louis Blues, the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. I don't know if I can shoot a 64 on the front nine.
Yeah, it has happened.
Without using multiple foot wedges.
I just asked about Ryan Whitney because the Whit Dog thinks he's ready for the PGA Tour at any point, and he takes it very serious. And obviously, Kevin Hayes is not a very serious guy all the time. Yeah. What I liked about that there is he's like, if guys get a little negative or whatever, he's literally describing what his role is in an NHL locker room, but while on the golf course. Mm-hmm. With other guys, he talked about how he tries to make sure that the day is a good day and everybody has fun.
Yeah. He said that he's setting expectations as a leader.
He's going to be a very welcome personality in that locker room. I can tell you that right now.
They need it. The Blues need it, that's for sure. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh. Lineup is out. We'll play the lineup game next here on 101 ESPN. Time to play the lineup game in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN as the Cardinals wrap up their series against the Miami Marlins, led by Skip Schumacher. He's doing great things, Jamie. Great things for them.
Yeah. I hear all over the place. Oh, we should have kept Skip, got rid of Ollie. In hindsight, who knows? You give Skip this lineup, maybe the same thing. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Got a lady on the other line about some white walls.
Gotta call you back. All right. Cardinals, Marlins. Again, Matthew Liberatore will start tonight for the Cardinals, and Brian Hoying will start for Miami. He's a right-hander.
Oh, we got the RHP. Yeah, you know me.
Okay, Jamie.
Yeah.
After Tommy Edman led off yesterday against the lefty, I think this is back to Brendan Donovan.
Is he healthy?
Ish.
Is he back in the lineup?
This is what we're trying to figure that out.
No,
in the lineup game.
Anthony, I really didn't watch the game yesterday. I was busy celebrating this country and its independence.
Well, you do so with some hot dogs and some baseball.
Mm-hmm. It was on in
beer.
The background. We didn't even have the volume on, though. You know why? I didn't want to hear that sadness.
Well, it wasn't sad for Miami.
We had music on.
You actually would hear.
And we were getting it.
You actually hear the crack of the bat a lot.
Yeah, no. Not ours.
No? Okay.
No.
Anyways, I think it's Brendan Donovan here.
Go ahead, Anthony. Lead the charge.
Show us Brendan Donovan. All right. Way to go, Donnie.
All right. This has got to be Paul Goldschmidt, right? You can't take the big fundy out of the game.
I would think so.
Unless he's traded. Anyways, Paul Goldschmidt, please.
I love gold.
You're on board now, aren't you?
No, I'm not. Anthony,
Why not?
Stop that. You and your rumor mill. My goodness.
It's not even a rumor. That's just
It's just your opinion.
my opinion from about 3 weeks ago. Who's coming with me on this? Let's rebuild this
The
team.
Goldie train?
Are we trading Goldschmidt?
Let's make the card. Never mind. Let's get pitching.
Oh, somehow.
Okay. All right, so Goldie, who the hell's hitting third?
Well, Arenado was third yesterday. It did seem to work really well. What? Stop. This is going to be Nolan Gorman.
Okay.
Because Stormin Gorman had himself a pretty good game batting third the other day.
Do it.
Show us Stormin Gorman.
No.
Son of a... Janet, why are you a factory of sadness today?
She's not from Cleveland.
No,
Okay,
you're
so
right.
this could be Contreras. This could be
Arenado?
Newt.
It could be Arenado. He was third yesterday.
Could be Arenado. All right. Do you like Arenado?
No, I don't. I mean, I
Oh.
like him. I don't know if I like him in the 3-hole. I prefer my Nolan in the 4-hole.
Okay. So, what do you think? Out of Newt, Contreras?
Contreras. Let's go.
Go for it.
Show me that big Willie Contreras.
Sorry, guys.
Anthony, you do it now, because I've said it twice, and Janet has rubbed it in my face twice. All over my face twice. Your turn.
I think Ollie, for some reason, likes Newt in this spot. Show us Newt. Newt.
All right, so we got the Newt bar.
Now.
This is the Albert Pujols guy here. My favorite, Albert Pujols. We've heard this 1,000 times. I can never remember the damn quote.
Can I say one more thing?
I love you, Albert Pujols.
That's true. What is it? That's true. We've heard it all the time. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Albert Pujols, you're my favorite or something.
It's absolutely not. And guess what? You got to guess first.
Nolan, show us. Nolan Arenado. Oh, you gotta play it for us, Marshy. Now my brain is gonna be in a pretzel for 24 hours.
That's true. He's got to
deserve it.
He's got to stick to his
I'm not
standards.
going to compromise my morals
this
here
is sad.
I don't know.
for your
Albert
pleasure.
Pujols, you're my man. No, that
Can I
ain't
say
it.
one more thing?
Can I say one more thing? I love you, Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols shoot a man?
No. You want me to tell you?
Yes.
Can I say one more thing? Albert Pujols, I love you, man.
There it is.
Once he said it, it's like,
It's
yeah,
so
that's what
easy.
it is. All right.
All right, we got Nolan Arenado at 4. I think it's Willie Contreras at 5.
I agree.
Show us Willson Contreras.
Wilson!
All right. This is where typically we have to slow down.
Slow down.
This is where I think this is Gorman.
Yeah, you got to have Gorman in there, right-handed pitcher. Gorman had himself a pretty good game the last one, too. He didn't play yesterday. Am I wrong? Or am I really just...
No, you're right. Because it was lefty yesterday.
Is it all blurry?
It is a little blurry.
What?
Certainly. But I think it's Gorman.
I think it's Storm and Gorman.
Show us Nolan Gorman, please.
Oh, that's right. What? He had himself a pretty good game last game, Marshy.
Jamie, I don't know which game you're watching. He hasn't gotten a hit in the past 3 games.
What? Maybe I was watching a rerun. I only saved the good games.
Highlights.
My brain only saves the good moments.
You might be talking about game 1 of that doubleheader against the Yankees.
That was it.
I think he had a home run that game,
Yeah,
too.
there we go.
There we go.
He put it in the bullpen, right? Or above it?
He put it over.
Sure.
He hit the ball.
All right, batting 7th, Jordan Walker. Is it Walk It Like It's Hot, Anthony?
Yes.
Show us Jordan Walker. Oh, yeah, he's getting the cold shoulder, too.
You know, you get a hit in 42 consecutive games, but if you don't get one
a couple in a row now.
43, yep.
No, they shouldn't have sat him that one day.
That's true. Ruined his timing.
Ruined him.
I don't care if he was sick. All right, batting 8th
This
is
Paul DeYoung.
It's forever DeYoung. Yep. Show us Paul DeYoung.
The king is gone.
Yeah, he sure is.
Uh-huh.
And then
And Tommy.
it's got to be Tommy Boy, right?
0 for 5, Tommy Edman. Show us Tommy Edman.
But right now, I'm going to need you, Tommy Boy, to get this place going.
So you got a hit yesterday?
0 for 5. Jeez, you think they got that many attempts around?
He was 0 for 5 2 days ago.
Consistent.
Do you guys even know what day of the week it is?
No, honestly, I thought today, all day long, today has been Monday for me.
Yeah.
Because
We're
Ashley has the same hours on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we woke up this morning, and we did not have camp today. Camp is going to be 2 days this week, Thursday and Friday. SynergyHockeySkills.com.
Look at you.
Is certainly somewhere you can visit, sign them up. But it threw me off. So I'm at the gym. I'm like, hey, it's Monday. And then Mentality sent me a text. Hey, we're looking forward to seeing you. I'm like, what? Oh, my God, it's Wednesday. Going into Mentality, packed house. Bunch of guys. Brad Thompson was there.
Was he?
Yeah, BT.
How's BT doing?
He's good.
Yeah.
He's good. He looks like he's got a
He
nice
looks
little
well.
cinnamon tan on him. He had
Coaching ball.
He's what?
Coaching.
Yeah.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was real happy to see me, and I was happy to see him.
That's nice. Did you guys embrace?
We did. We hugged it out. Bro hug right there in the middle of Mentality.
Nice.
I've never felt more like a man in my life.
I mean, hey, where else are you going to do it, right?
It's a good point, Anthony.
All right. What were we talking about?
Oh, we were doing the lineup game.
Okay.
Do you
Go
want me
ahead,
to roll
Marsh.
through
Run
it? Yeah.
Run it.
Leading off, DH, Brendan Donovan. Batting second, first baseman Paul
DH.
Goldschmidt. Batting third, right fielder Lars Nootbaar. Your cleanup hitter, third baseman Nolan Arenado.
Attaboy.
Batting fifth, Willson Contreras. He's behind the plate. Batting sixth, second baseman Nolan Gorman. Batting seventh in left field, Jordan Walker. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Paul DeYoung. And batting ninth in center field, Tommy Edman.
Who's the DH today?
Donovan.
Okay. That's what threw me off.
Go foul, go foul.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Home run.
All right, March, why don't you update us on those standings?
Yeah, you guys are still neck and neck.
Yeah.
I'm still at 1.
You know what, though?
Yeah, don't even say it. It's not going to change.
No. It's like Adam Wainwright has been saying about his upcoming run.
So you're saying I'm going to go on a streak?
Absolutely. I feel it, Marsh.
You think I'm going to go on a streak?
I think you're on. Absolutely.
Man, that doesn't make me feel good, though, especially with the way things went with Waino.
I didn't say what sort of streak you're going on.
That's fair.
But you're going to be great. You know what, Marsh? Why don't you go first?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, why don't you go first? Let's get Marsh back into the home run derby.
All right. I'm going to go with Nolan Arenado. It's my guy.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Andrew Marsh.
What do you got, Jamie?
Well, since my guy's still so hot right now.
Jorge Soler?
No.
Oh.
No. Nolan Gorman. In my mind, he just hit a home run yesterday.
That's true. That's true.
He's hot right now.
In your mind, Gorman is 27 of his last 27 with 4 bombs.
This guy is on fuego.
All grand slams.
In his mind, the Cardinals are only 12 games under 500.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's not.
And 2 games back.
Yeah.
Of what?
Wow.
Of
fourth place?
No.
Fourth place.
I don't think that's true, is it?
Probably not. I stopped looking at the standings.
I did too. I don't even look anymore. I used to look at it daily.
Matter.
Now I'm like, whatever.
All right, give me RL Chalk, please. Give me Paul Goldschmidt. Did a Ding Dong Johnson today. We got 5:40 start for the old Redbirds.
5:40. Correct.
Down in Miami. Lone Depot Park, Jamie. That's what they're calling it these days. All right.
We get some comments here on the old YouTube chat line.
Oh, yeah, what are those people saying?
Jamie, you remember you were on video, right? Yeah. So just to bring you guys behind the curtain a little bit here in the fast lane is we've decided as a group, we're not changing anything.
Which is dangerous.
We're not changing anything.
But exciting.
So if you see me giving Anthony an interview where I'm going like, hey, I have a question, I got a question, or if we do this the spinny thing means we're going to wrap it up because we have time to worry about. You're going to get a peek behind the curtain. We're not window dressing this at all. We're undressing the whole thing.
For them to say something, what are you...
What?
For them to say something, though, what were you doing?
I don't know.
I think he was doing the finger thing, but with a different finger, right?
No, I'm very precise
that was
with
last week.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, I make sure Anthony sees that one clearly.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie.
You're welcome.
Did the league get better while the Blues watched in free agency?
Oh, come on.
Wow, Marsh.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Why would you word it that way?
So disappointing.
We'll find out next on 101 ESPN. Laughlin on 101 ESPN 304. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Don't forget, we're streaming now on YouTube at 101 ESPN STL. And we got a great comment not too long ago that said, wow, you guys are a lot older than I thought. That's not nice. Marsh is in his 20s. Marsh is in his 20s. And if you average our ages together, we're youngish. You know?
We're not boomers.
No.
Anthony, I have one here for you. I don't know how you would take it. From Boone.
Hey, Boone.
Says, this is driving me nuts. For the last 2 years, I thought Anthony was old and looked like Randy. This is blowing my mind.
Interesting.
One, a bit of a ricochet on Randy there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Who dressed up this morning for the
Sure
cameras?
did. He looked really good.
He looked sharp. I saw him.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about that. Is that a compliment to you? Does it make you feel like you sound old or that you look young? It's like the question we had earlier in the office.
Yeah, I remember that question.
It's a real conundrum.
Yeah, real Stalter's choice.
Oh, it sure was. It sure was. Good choice, Anthony.
Thanks, Marsh. Speaking of Marsh.
I do.
I don't know. He's just
You know what you did.
Brought it up.
You've done a couple of things today. You didn't watch Weekend at Bernie's.
That's my
That's
fault.
number one. And number two,
I wear that one.
you brought up the Stalter choice thing again.
Well, I mean, if I wasn't going to do it, Jamie would at some
Very
point.
true. That's a great point.
So,
all right, Marsh, you posed the question to us. Did the league get better while the Blues watched in free agency? They couldn't do much in free agency.
Oh, I know.
And they gave you Kevin Hayes.
Yeah.
So
No, I
why
know.
are you complaining?
Honestly,
I was complaining. It's just a question.
I heard Tanner this morning that I love you, Tanner. With all due respect, your take was just, I mean, it didn't make any sense at all. It didn't. Tanner wanted Doug Armstrong to be more active in free agency. He wants to shake up the decor. Well, I guess Tanner's playing a video game. You know, where you have auto trades, like no matter what you propose, the computer game accepts it.
Take this, computer.
yeah.
Yep, that's
Playing
what,
franchise mode right now.
like I said, with all due respect to Tanner, that's what he was playing, was the, make a GM mode or whatever. Because in reality, Doug Armstrong is doing everything he can right now. What else do you want the guy to do? He acquired Kevin Hayes. He tried to make another trade to get Sanheim here. Torrey Krug said, no, I really don't want to leave St. Louis.
He said, go Sanheim yourself.
He did. And he said, I specifically don't want to go to Philadelphia. So try again. Or don't try again because my answer's not going to trade or not going to change. But when you look at the cap space, Army currently, the projected cap space is $2.3 million. What the hell is he going to do? You already have 8 defensemen under one-way contracts for next year. 8. Army's just supposed to fabricate something? No, you got 4 of your top 4 guys have no trade clauses. And Army has a fresh feel to how that works. Because rumor has it, Torrey Krug was asked to waive his no trade clause, and he said no. So now Army's looking at the other guys and Marco Scandella, who has a 7-team no trade clause. So that one's still easier to maneuver, except you got to find a dance partner. Someone who's going to look at Marco Scandella and go, I'm going to ignore the last 2 years, which have basically been injury-riddled, and, I'd love to have his $3.2 million on the books. You have to find a dance partner for that. You're probably going to have to attach something to it to sweeten the pot a little bit. But what was Army going to do? Any of the free agent defensemen out there, what 9 guys under one-way contract?
Not a bad thought.
What? No, it is a bad thought, Anthony.
It's an interesting strategy, Jamie, if you really think about it.
It's a bold move, but it's not an intelligent one.
What if you start dressing defenders and playing them as forwards?
Like Jake Wallman.
Yeah.
It has been done.
Nobody's going to see this coming, guys.
Like Jamie Rivers.
That's right.
Jamie Rivers.
Hey, if you want to get playing time, you say you're a right winger.
Or a centerman.
Or a goalie.
There you go.
Yep.
Well, I think we should be good on the goaltending.
Now, when all that happened, it was a bit of a different league. You could still make quite an impact as a fourth-line type guy. But anyways, truth here. The Blues are limited on what they can do right now. They're trying to create some depth up front. Army's talked about wanting to solidify the top 9. He did that. Kevin Hayes solidifies that. And we went through the lineup the one day, and we're like, it's not a bad lineup. Top 9. What did he do? He added to the fourth line. Mackenzie McEachern going to be in here on the fourth line now. Who knows what else they have in store for the fourth line? Oscar Sundqvist, I believe, is still in play. I believe there's $1 million contract out there with his name on it to be a St. Louis Blue. I think he's just weighing out some other opportunities right now. If that's the case, then you're fine up front. And on the back end, you cannot do anything right now. You're at a standstill because of what you currently have. Army just can't fabricate trades or signings. And what was your pivot? Ryan O'Reilly? 4 years at $4.5 million?
What'd you think about that?
No, not even for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Not even for a second. And I love you, Ryan O'Reilly, and chatted with him about his contract the other day, talking about how he's going to parlay that music into a second career in Nashville. Happy for the guy. Not giving him 4 years at $4.5 million. So when you evaluate what is going on right now, Army's actually doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He said, I'm not entirely focused on 23-24. I have to also be focused on 24-25. The salary cap is going to go up a good bump, maybe $5 to $8 million in the next offseason. So if that's the case, Army, the Scandella contract will be off the books. There'll be a couple other things that he's going to be able to maneuver, but he'll have more cap space. And maybe by then there's a dance partner for one of the top 4 defensemen if he decides to move on from that. If he doesn't, and the defense core comes back, and they have a good year, that changes things too. So you can't just be, you can be bold, but you can't be out of control. You can't be reckless as a general manager. Those guys who operate in a reckless way or in an emotional state, those are the guys that never, ever, ever seem to get out of the rebuild because they keep flipping this and flipping that and flipping this, and then you don't have a foundation then. Mm-hmm. You keep players are in and out, in and out. Look at Arizona for that matter. Mm-hmm. Like they've been in the same rebuild for a decade now.
Well, longer than that.
Well, longer than that. The rebuild, yeah.
When did you play for them?
Yeah, when did you ruin their organization?
You think me playing for them ruined that organization?
And
Anthony, we won games we shouldn't have while I was playing there.
Jamie, you scored the goal, and then you returned to do what? You returned to Arizona to do what?
To play there.
To finish them.
Right. You're getting off track here. Don't worry about the guy. I'll pick a different team. I'll pick a different team, okay, Anthony, since you're fixated on that right now.
Okay.
I don't know what team. Pick any team. But the bottom line is...
Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, they're right there right now. This is hell for them.
How about Vancouver?
Vancouver's in a bad spot, too, because they keep flipping bodies, but they're not really decreasing payroll. They just keep bringing in the solutions, so they think, but when the solutions go awry on them, then they're in an Oliver Ekman-Larsson where they've got to buy out like 3 years on a deal. Not great for the ownership at that point.
No. And he also played with the Coyotes. Nice job there, Jamie. He connected everything. Well done.
Real quick, though, Jamie, to the second part, I guess, of this question, did other teams in the league get better, though? Other teams in your division, did they improve?
Maybe they had more action, but did they really get better? I don't know. Look at Nashville. Nashville cleaned house. Barry Trotz said, this culture sucks. I need to move some guys. Mm-hmm. And so he moved 2 of their most talented players. He brought in a Ryan O'Reilly. His motives are clear. He wants to clean up that locker room. He wants to have guys with great leadership skills. And Ryan O'Reilly is the guy. He probably paid a little too much for him. Probably willingly did so in order to solidify good leadership in that room. But is Nashville that much better right now? No, I don't think so. Colorado Avalanche, yes. But they were good to start with. Mm-hmm. They were good to start with. And so those guys are still going to be at the top of the food chain in your division, regardless of what they did, anything at all. And Chicago Blackhawks, well, they couldn't go anywhere but up, for that matter. And it's still to be determined how good they'll be. Their defense core is still not great. Goaltending still suspect. So that's going to be difficult. And when you look at Winnipeg, they're in a bit of a disaster mode. They got players who aren't even sure they want to be there. And they've also tried to clean house, too, buying out Blake Wheeler and having some other pieces move. So I don't believe the division has, taken these massive steps where the Blues are like, whoa, we can't catch up. I think the Kevin Hayes deal was a really good one for the Blues. I think the further development of Jake Neighbors, another year of maturity for Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas. Like, you have to look at this and go, this team is right on the cusp of being a playoff team. Now, they just need solid play from their defense core. They need better than what they got last year, and they need equal goaltending to better than what they got last year. And this team is right there, somewhere in the playoff conversation.
That's Jamie Rivers Andrew Marsh and Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. There's more drama involving Willson Contreras, although the story isn't as interesting as who delivered it. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Fly ball hit to left. De La Cruz back as far as he can go. It is gone. A home run for Contreras. A moonshot ties our game. It's 2-2.
Chip Carey on the call. One of the calls. I don't know anymore. What game was that from, Marsh?
That was from Game 1 against the Miami Marlins.
Oh, okay.
Also
That's
known
right,
as the
they won
game
a game.
on Monday.
They won a game the other day.
I don't think they won that game.
It was the Yankee game on Sunday. They won that one. Actually took 2 of 3 from the Yankees, and you thought, hey, things are not turning around, but that was nice. It was nice to take 2 of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, though, one of the Yankees broadcasters brought up the Willson Contreras situation again. And I don't think him bringing it up, the story itself, is all that interesting because we dove into that. It's old news. But Michael Kay of the Yes Network, he's their play-by-play guy for Yes. He had mentioned during the broadcast, I found out something. I was talking to a lot of Cardinal people. The reason that they took Contreras out from behind the plate, he was calling pitches that the pitcher on the mound didn't have. He would be calling for a cutter, for a pitcher that didn't throw a cutter. The pitchers were going crazy. Again, that was Michael Kay. So people started to connect the dots here. The only former Yankee that Michael Kay probably would have talked to was Jordan Montgomery, who the Cardinals obviously acquired from the Yankees a year ago at the trade deadline in exchange for Harrison Bader. We have no idea if Jordan Montgomery was Michael Kay's source. And when he says, I talked to a lot of Cardinals people, it probably was just one person. It may or may not have been Montgomery. But if it is true, Jamie, that Contreras was calling pitches that pitchers didn't have, well, that would make sense then why the Cardinals gave him a little bit of a breather from behind the plate to, I don't know, figure out what pitches his pitchers throw.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I don't really like this whole thing. This is all like hearsay, and I know the reputation of the Yankees announcer and all that stuff, okay?
He's been around.
But fine. But let's do some real research on this.
Okay.
Did he call the wrong pitches, or did the pitch comm? Did he pick the wrong pitch on the pitch comm? Like, all of these things are in play. And how many times did it happen? Like a couple?
Well, how many times did he get the... Okay, so what's worse then? He calls the wrong pitch for the pitcher, or he doesn't know what button to push? Either way, it's not a good look if it is true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he looks down, he's like, I call for a cutter. Okay, that may happen once.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen 42 times. Like the one time Jordan Hicks was on the mound, he kept calling for, I don't know, was it a slider? Called for a slider 14 pitches in a row?
Yeah.
It's not a good look for Contreras either way, if it's true.
Yeah. I agree. But if it's not true, you're making something out of nothing now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when is enough with the Contreras thing? Like, when is it enough? And if it's true, then the Cardinals didn't do their homework enough.
Right.
Like, if that's the case, then I think we already knew that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first time we heard of a speed bump, even though we didn't know about this, like, supposed wrong pitch calling, we knew, like, okay, you probably didn't do all the homework necessary, or you did, but you didn't do it the right way to find out what you've got here. I just find it hard to believe that not one other catcher in Major League Baseball that switched teams hasn't had a moment or two where the pitch comm, they get the sequence wrong, or however it works, or maybe they call the wrong pitch with the wrong guy. That happens. And let's not forget that a lot of the pitching staff, two of them were at the World Baseball Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And so how are you supposed to get to know these guys? You tried and you went for it, but I don't know. I just don't like these hearsay articles that come out. I find them unfair to the player because now the player can't really comment on it because if he does, he's sewering the pitchers. Well, no, I never did that. It happened twice. And if that's what they're complaining about, like, my God, it's not those 2 or 3 times that have their ERA at 7 or 8 right now.
Right.
It's not the wrong pitch being called that, I don't know, made you put it right over the plate. And if I don't like the pitch that you're suggesting, I'm allowed to shake it off.
Mm-hmm.
And recent history, like right now, recency bias. What did Miles Michaelis say following his start the other day? He says, I was calling my own pitches in the first inning. I'll never do that again. It's Willie's turn to call the pitches.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, but I thought you guys didn't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he's calling pitches that you don't even have in your repertoire. But now you're admitting fault as a pitcher, which I respected that totally from Miles Michaelis. I really did. But saying, nuh-uh, I'm listening to Willson Contreras. They used to say the same thing about Yachty, and I'm not comparing him to Yachty by any means. But that's Miles Michaelis, who's a veteran player, giving the respect to Contreras, saying that he's calling a better game than I am.
Right.
The results are right there. So I find this whole Contreras situation, the weaving and the bobbing and the whole, like, everything that's going on, I find it distracting to what the hell's actually going on the field. You know what I mean?
You nailed the big picture. You nailed the small picture on this. So let's just, the small pictures, your pitchers aren't good enough. They're just not. Your pitching staff isn't good, period. That's not earth-shattering news. Anybody that is stuck with the Cardinals this far into the season knows that. Your pitching staff wasn't good. Your pitching staff wasn't going to be good going into the season. We talked about it. We just thought that it was going to be good enough to match up with the offense, which was supposed to be good, for you to win the NL Central. That was it. Nobody was under any. We weren't naive to think that the Cardinals were going to get into the postseason. They were going to have a good enough pitching staff to win anything of substance at all. They're worse than we thought. So to your point, maybe Willson Contreras sitting back there is like, cutter. I don't have a cutter. Well, figure it out. Throw one anyways because your slider sucks.
Yeah, or shake it off and tell.
And I'm being facetious, but
I know you are.
Well, ish. Your pitching staff isn't good, but to your bigger overall point, the front office didn't know.
No,
they had no idea that Willson Contreras wasn't any good behind the plate. And this is
a stretch too.
And I'm exaggerating here because obviously the guy won a World Series. He probably doesn't either. Sorry, Willson. I know you're listening, but your front office, after watching Yachty or Molina do what he did on the field and off the field since 2003, you sold out for the offense.
Which you wanted to do anyways. You wanted to get a bat in your catcher's hands.
Right. Okay, great.
So let me ask you this, a very honest question. Marcia, you can participate in this one too. If the Cardinals had Yachty or Molina behind the plate all season long, how many games do they win compared to what they had? Like, how many more games have they won compared to this year? Because...
Right, I don't know.
2 or 3? The pitcher still didn't execute.
Right, to your point, it's not. Unfortunately, I think we saw the end of Adam Wainwright last year. That's the reality. Now, Jordan Montgomery, some of his starts, you had no offense. Miles Michaelis, would he have avoided his rough April and June with Yachty behind the plate? Maybe. But how many games did you blow from a bullpen standpoint? I
just find it super hard to believe that Yachty would have this team in contention.
Okay, so overall, missing Yachty or Molina certainly hurts. Missing Albert Pujols certainly hurts. Not to the point where you are 35-50 on the year.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Anthony. This is why this happens all the time. Losing teams. The media at times create controversy amongst losing teams because there's nothing else to talk about.
Well, you're grasping at why. Because we all, well, okay, we do 4 hours though. We do a 4-hour radio show. We're talking about the why too.
Yeah, but we're trying to be honest. I'm not just throwing crap out there. Like, I talked to so-and-so and this is the problem. No, the problem goes deeper than that. If nothing else, at least we're honest when it comes to all of the problems the Cardinals have.
Well, yeah, that's the key word, because you said problem first. Yeah. You're right. It's problems.
We have a wheel of, what do we call that wheel, where the Cardinals are going to lose?
Sadness.
Wheel of sadness?
Wheel of sadness.
Pick the way the Cardinals are going to blow this game?
Spin that thing, too, by the way. Can you pull that up?
You want me to?
I feel like we haven't done the wheel in a while. The wheel of sadness in a while.
But, Anthony, if it was one thing, if it was Willson Contreras only, why would we have a wheel? Why would anybody in St. Louis? One day it's the bullpen. Next day it's the rotation. Then it's the defense. Then it's the catcher. Then it's the offense.
Don't forget.
It's the manager.
Well.
What?
I think you got to go beyond that. We found one of the issues, and the Cardinals refused to do anything about it. You and I found
Fredberg.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've got Fredberg who's
has been mailing it in since the pandemic.
He has been, but you know what? That's what happens with losing teams. Even the mascots start to underperform because why would they celebrate it? Why would they drink that Red Bull and get after it? No. Not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Still, I think you could be. I think the Cardinals could be better in all facets. Hey, Marshy.
Problem is that everybody's
Got that
focusing
Will
on
kid?
one thing.
Well, it's one thing right now.
I know, but it's
Tomorrow
no,
will be
but it's the
something else.
narrative. It just pisses me off. I don't.
Okay.
You know what? And I'm not a big Willson Contreras super fan. I don't know enough about the guy, but I also know that he won a World Series. You paid him a whole bunch of money. You brought him in because you thought he was going to be something to help your team, and now everybody's just been crapping on this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's not even your biggest problem. But
Very
it's
true.
nice to point the finger at one person.
Let's point the finger at what it's going to be tonight, huh?
There we go. So this is called the Wheel of Sadness.
Yes.
We do have a win on there, so
We do have a win.
yeah. All right, Marsh. Let's spin it. Let's see what we get. And again, this basically your blame game here. If the Cardinals are going to lose, we're going to tell you exactly how they're going to lose. They got the Marlins tonight. Marsh, we spinning it? There we go.
Oh, my.
There we go.
It's got some heat on it.
Spun that one hard. All right, so what do we got tonight? Let me position my mic here. See what.
Oh.
That one makes a lot of sense considering this has been the worst in terms of many statistical categories,
Oh,
whether you're
name
looking at
one.
ERA, whether you're
Name
looking
two.
at FIP,
Name three.
XFIP, home runs allowed per 9, Sierra, if you're a Sierra fan.
Russell Wilson is.
Nope, not that Sierra. Different
man.
spelling on that. It's your bullpen. Your bullpen's going to blow it tonight.
Have they blown saves this year, though?
I can't recall 20 of them.
Yeah. 17, I believe, is where we're at now.
Okay, well,
Andre
make it 18.
Palante the other day, 17.
Make it 18 after tonight.
All right.
Sports Six Pack is next. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. If you got a question for us, send it in. We got our Sports Six Pack next on 101 ESPN.
Are you looking for replacement windows? Please call my friends over at Window World, preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. They are ranked number 1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Window World windows are one of the 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. Why? Why? Because they have a double-strength glass that gives it a strength that you just don't see in other replacement windows. Summertime, the hot stays out. Wintertime, the cold stays out. Money stays in your wallet. That's what Window World cares about. And they also offer a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. I can tell you this, the customer satisfaction is number 1 of things that they want to take care of over at Wonder World. They care about the customers, and they also still have 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Again, that's customer service, customer satisfaction right there. So please give them a call at 993-1800. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. Again, that number is 314-993-1800, or look them up at windowworld.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals fall to the Marlins yesterday by a final score of 15-2. Adam Wainwright went 3 1/3, gave up 7 hits, 7 runs. 4 of those were earned. He walked 2 and struck out 3. The Cards looking to get back into the win column tonight. 5:40 first pitch as Matthew Liberatore takes the mound, going up against Brian Hoeing. Also this weekend, City SC defeated Colorado 2-0. They'll take on Toronto on Saturday with a start time of 6:30. And we talked earlier today with newest Blue Kevin Hayes. He joined the show. If you missed that interview, go to 101ESPN.com or use the 101 mobile app. You can find us right there on the podcast page. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Also, stick around. We'll talk with Jason Isringhausen and Jeremy Rutherford in the 4 o'clock hour. We have our Sports Six-Pack next. Send us a text to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. And, of course, if you're on YouTube, send in your questions for our Sports Six-Pack. That's all coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack here on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions via the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646.
Question number 1.
Of course, that is the Air Comfort Service text line, but of course you can send us stuff from YouTube, and we get one from our YouTube chat. Kylo Rat, does Army want the Blues to make the playoffs this year, or does he quietly want the Blues to be sellers one more year to make a push in 2024, 2025?
He absolutely wants them in the playoffs. I can tell you that right now. Army knows he has an obligation to this fan base and to the ownership group to get in the playoffs, to get into the playoffs and get some of that playoff revenue. He knows that. And I can tell you this right now, if Army had no desire, or he was like, I don't really want to make the playoffs next year, you would have seen a completely different trade deadline. You would have seen a completely different offseason so far. Acquiring Kevin Hayes is a move to improve your hockey team. Acquiring nobody would have been a move that you're like, we're trying to just kind of get by here. Getting rid of players from your defensive core for nothing, or for future pieces, or just draft picks, that would be evidence of a guy that wants to look at 2 years from now or 3 years from now. Not Army. Army wants to win right away again. He wants to get this team in the playoffs, and there's absolutely no doubt in my mind.
Question number 2.
From the 636, Ivan Herrera has shown possible elite ability with the bat, and he's improving overall. I'm afraid he'll be the next guy that they trade that does very well elsewhere. Your thoughts?
Well, the only thing that you can kind of take comfort in is that Willson Contreras wasn't signed to just be the catcher. I know that he had expressed that he wanted to be viewed as a regular catcher, but there was always, the game plan was always to have him DH maybe once, or at least once a week, if not twice a week. So, in other words, there would be a spot. Ivan Herrera could come up. He could still be kind of your catcher of the future. He could split time initially with Willson Contreras, but Contreras would be your DH. The bigger problem is that Willson Contreras, if he winds up being a full-time DH, well, now, I mean, is he good enough to be a DH?
No. I mean, he's fine.
He could be blocking a spot. That DH spot has been, now we're seeing Donovan. It's either been a spot where you can get somebody a rest, or you could use it to enhance your lineup from a power standpoint. I think that you become more limited that way. But if Ivan Herrera turns out to be in the same hemisphere as what Yachty was, but he has a better bat, then great. Then he's your catcher.
He's crushing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get an opportunity, too.
I hope he does.
Well, this is the perfect time for it, Anthony.
I mean, dude, bring up Mason Wynn, too. Let's go.
I don't disagree with that, but I think right now...
Why did you say with such disgust?
No, because I'm talking...
Face?
Well, one, because Mason Wynn's not on the roster right now.
We'll put him on the roster.
Herrera is. So let's focus on today. Herrera is on the roster today, and I guarantee you that he's going to get reps behind the plate. He's going to get as many plate appearances as they can get him, because they have to know what it is. They have to know what he is. And if Willson Contreras ends up being your DH, but Herrera is crushing it like a DH, what does it matter?
It doesn't.
Put your position, switch the little letters around. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. If Herrera is actually your DH numbers, as far as offensively, who cares? So Contreras is still an above average hitter, so it doesn't matter if he's playing catcher or DH. You see what I'm saying? You're just swapping the numbers around.
Yeah. Unless there's an injury, then.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. That changes everything, but yeah.
And you can't carry 3 catchers like you did before.
Why not?
Soaking up
Trace
rosters.
Burr's a hell of a guy.
Okay, Jamie, don't you dare.
He was. That's what they
Question number 3.
I really liked him.
From the 314, are you guys feeling a little more comfortable now with the cameras on those mugs? Do you guys have a makeup artist now?
Yeah, the camera makes me very nervous. I've never been on camera before, so this is a new step.
Oh, good for you.
It's a new step.
Look at you, Mr. Valley Sports Midwest.
For me, and, get a little nervous every now and then. And no, I don't have a makeup artist. I don't do makeup for Valleys.
You don't?
No. I don't know why people do.
Do you see a single flaw on that face, Anthony?
There's so many. That's the problem.
Marsh, those lights are harsh.
Are they?
Yes.
I just roll with it, Anthony.
I don't know. I've never been on camera.
This is what it is for me. I see some grown men sitting there with the little powder that they're and I'm like, what are we doing?
Is that for the sweat, though?
I don't know.
Because the lights are so
It could
hot?
be. It could be. I don't know. And you know what? Teach their own. I don't care. I don't have anybody who does makeup unless I got a heater that's poking through, you got a zit or a pimple, and you're looking, you're like, oh my God. And you know how you can only focus on that one thing? In general, you're looking at you don't really notice it, but you feel it. It feels like there's a softball on your face.
For sure.
So then I'll do a little touch up area there and try to make it as good as I possibly can, but there's only so much you can do sometimes. I do remember coming back from Mexico the first time. I had my hat on backwards, but it was like a regular hat, so it has that little hole, for where the adjustment.
No.
And so after the first day, I had pretty good tan on. I go up to the room, sleep, wake up in the morning, go to brush my teeth in the morning. I've got this red, circular oval on my forehead because of the sun was going right through there. I battled that sucker all trip trying to get it back to normal. I came back in that one game. I had to get some help and touch up the red ring on my forehead because it looked like someone had hit me with a ball-peen hammer.
Good call.
So that happened to me one time. I went to a Cardinals game, and it was a day game, and we were sitting down low, and I think they were playing the Giants. Either way, I did something similar. Had a backwards hat on, and it was one of those strap backs, kind of like the one I have on now. But I had it on all day, didn't put any sunscreen on, just, we're fine. Not that I could beat the sun by any means. So I had this a function thing going on a day later. And I get home and I realize my entire face is red as the ESPN behind you, except for this one strip. So I thought I could correct it by going out and just placing a towel over my face, except for that one streak of skin, and trying to tan myself.
I don't know if I can.
Back.
I don't know if I can let you do this to yourself on the air, Marshy.
Wow.
No, I thought maybe it would work, and
so
honestly, it didn't.
You just had it placed on your forehead?
Yeah, kind of. I was trying to redo it. Yeah. I mean, this is a few years ago. Not that helps by any means, but
Marshy, thank you. Thank you for your honesty.
I mean, we're all sharing stories.
We are. I mean it. Thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't worried about that. You typically don't wear the hat in the sun. I will ram my face into a side of a pool, though.
For sure.
So there's that.
At the end of the day, I wanted to get around to, I ended up having to do the same thing. Put a little powder on my face to kind of do what Jamie did.
Yeah,
for
but you
function.
For the function, I got it. I was about to say because you weren't on TV.
No, but it was a pretty big thing.
It was a classy joint. You couldn't
You
couldn't just walk up.
I couldn't just walk in with a stripe on my face, of my forehead.
That would have been great. So anybody that asked you is like, yeah, America.
Yeah, pretty much.
Question number 4.
All right, guys, from the 573, between Flaherty and Montgomery, which one would you rather trade, and which one are you keeping? Keep in mind that Montgomery will probably get you more in return through trade, and we don't know if we can rely on Flaherty long term. That's from JP from Rolla.
So we're keeping one and trading one?
Who are we keeping?
It's up to you.
But who are the players?
Oh, boy. Okay, we'll re-ask that question. Let Jamie know what the question is. And then we'll answer it.
Did I get it wrong?
That's not one ESPN. So we got an interesting question in our Sports Six-Pack, and we're going to have to re-ask it because I don't think Jamie heard it.
I kind of heard it, but, Anthony, sometimes I just don't pay attention to you.
Well,
I mean, don't take that personal.
In this case, it was actually the listener in Marsh, but...
but I heard your
Jamie.
voice. Sometimes when your voice starts, I just black out. I'm just like, whatever. But don't take that the wrong way. Marshy, what was the question?
Yeah, so we got a question from
you
the
came here to hurt me, Jamie. You did.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
You've always told me, no matter what, just be honest. We're bros, honesty. I'd be honest, and now you're hurt. I feel like you set me up for that. I don't appreciate it.
If I had feelings.
Mm-hmm. You do, though. Apparently, I just bruised them. You're day-to-day with hurt feelings right now.
Well, I'll talk to my therapist about it. Go ahead, Marsh.
That's a good
rephrase it.
From the 573. Between Jack Flaherty and Jordan Montgomery, are you two done?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay.
Don't take that tone of voice with Anthony. You know what happens.
There's
He
three
shuts
rules.
down. He shuts down.
There's three
and we'll
rules.
never get him
There
back.
were more than 3 rules.
Well, name the 3 that are most important, Marsh.
1, don't look at you right in the eyes.
That's rule number 2.
2, I forgot number 2.
Tell him, Jamie.
Oh, it's Anthony's show.
No.
Oh, that's rule 3. My bad.
Go ahead, Marsh.
From the 573.
Just ask the question.
Between Jack Flaherty and Jordan Montgomery, which one would you rather trade and which one are you keeping? Keep in mind that Jordan Montgomery will probably get you more in return through trade, and we don't know if we can rely on Jack Flaherty long term. And that is from JP from Rolla, Missouri.
Is the answer both? Just trade them both.
Oh,
I guess
yeah.
I got to keep one?
Yes, but you got to keep one.
I think I would keep Jack Flaherty. And here's my reasoning. He has a lot to prove still. And he's not going to fetch you as much as Montgomery is on the trade market. So although Monty's a better pitcher, although I believe the team is better with Monty next year, I have to acquire everything I possibly can for the best player available. And then if I'm forced to keep Jack Flaherty, I just continue to hope and pray that we get a version of Jack Flaherty that's consistent and that can, be a part of my rotation. And then maybe if he's as good as he can be, then I flip Jack Flaherty next year at the trade deadline.
How much do you think that Flaherty is going to command on the open market?
Oh, I don't know. What's he making now? Like 9?
How about instead of a dollar amount, let's just talk years. Like Montgomery's going to get probably a 5-year deal, 4 or 5-year deal.
I think Flaherty gets a 2-year deal.
If that.
If.
So maybe a 1-year deal.
I'd say
with a second year being an option. How about that?
I think so.
I would go as far as 3 years last year being a team option.
But why would a team even do that?
Why would a team do 3? I'm thinking 1 or 2.
Based upon his injury status in the last couple of years, like why would a team? I would never. Doesn't mean there's not a dumbass GM out there that would do it.
That's kind of where I'm at. There's dumb teams out there, and they could say, hey, maybe he ends up being the 2019 Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's somebody out there that's thinking that.
I'm going with the shorter term, which would be Flaherty. Montgomery is going to cost, and I don't the dollar amount, whatever, but it's the years. So if Montgomery is going to fetch a 4 or 5-year contract, I would rather keep Flaherty on a shorter term deal. Like Jamie said, if he pitches well in the first half next year, trade him. And trade Montgomery or not, because he would fetch you more. So that's the way I'm thinking it. Either way, you want to trade both.
Well, you have to.
You have to.
You have to be Doug Armstrong here, and it should be very black and white that you're trading this group of players. They're no longer going to be a part of the Cardinals by the end of the season.
But let's go over those players. It's Flaherty. It's Montgomery. If you can, it's Tyler O'Neill. It is probably Jordan Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
I would trade Jordan Hicks. And then if I want to resign, I look to resign him in free agency. There's no guarantee he's gonna come back anyways. Somebody's going to pay a haul if this guy keeps closing.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he's a rental, but there's teams. Don't forget, teams are going to be in contention here. So they'll overpay at the deadline, thinking they have a chance to win a World Series. The Yankees at one point, I know Jordan Hicks is not Aroldis Chapman, but at one point the Yankees were able to acquire Gleyber Torres in a package of prospects for Chapman and then re-sign Chapman. So I think, again, it's Flaherty, it's Montgomery, if I can, Tyler O'Neill, Paul DeYoung, Jordan Hicks, and, of course, Paul Goldschmidt. Go ahead, Marshall.
Anthony. Yeah, he's only got 1 year left on his deal. You're not crazy.
Do you want to rebuild or not? Do you want to retool? Do you want to retool or not?
I want to watch a team win a baseball game before we start talking about anything.
You're not going to win if you have pitching.
If we're not going to win if we have pitching, or if
you're not going to win if you don't at this.
Yeah, you forgot the deal.
Yeah.
Did I don't?
You didn't.
I got head injuries.
That's why I tell you. Sometimes I just block it out. You know.
Thanks. Yeah.
Fine.
Jamie, I'm sorry that you got to deal with me. You too, Marsh.
Well, Anthony,
don't worry about it.
Thank you for that apology.
If you don't have pitching, you're not going to win games.
And
Dustin May, though, injured.
Yeah.
Dodgers.
So
Jack Flaherty.
You're trading Jack Flaherty for the next Yordan Alvarez. That's the way I look at it.
What if you traded both of them? Package deal.
Who?
No, I wouldn't.
You want it? You would split them up?
I would split them up because I think you get more that way, in my opinion.
Think of this team, what it could look like if you did trade all those pieces, including Paul Goldschmidt.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Goldie. Love him wearing the birds on the bat. But this team could be, I mean, it could flip 180 in one off season with the players that you acquire through all those trades. And then if you actually get aggressive in free agency.
Well, look who just showed up. I've been holding the door for you for a while
Anthony,
now. For weeks, I've been holding the door out for you.
And they say chivalry is dead.
Listen,
Thank
Anthony,
you, Marsh. I've been waiting for you on the side of the road. All aboard the let's really get it on for 2024. Let's really improve this roster. I've left the door open.
Anthony, like a lot of things in your life, when you said it, it was premature. And so now when it's evolved a little more where, we've kicked the can down the road to where now we know, I agree. I'm not going to be premature and just like getting rid of all these pieces all at once, all over the place. Just no. I'm going to be patient. Someone great once said,
"Don't do it.
Be patient."
How many times? How many times did he say it?
He's still saying.
He's still saying it. Team's in last place. Complete garbage.
Just be patient. Anthony.
Just be patient.
It is words of wisdom. Really is.
Gauntlet next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
categories, one challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
Time for the Gauntlet here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN 402. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. Tim is our latest contestant in the Gauntlet. What's up, Tim?
How you doing, guys?
We're doing great. Marsh told us that you were in a downpour.
Yes, I live on the east side near Highland, Illinois, and it is just absolutely downpouring right now.
Really?
Are you safe? You're off to the side?
Oh, yes, I pulled over. I'm stopped.
Okay, good. We safety first.
Absolutely.
Always.
Yeah. Jamie tried to live by that, but went sideways in a hurry.
It went all over the place, actually.
So we're told. All right, Tim, would you like to take on Marsh, Jamie, or myself today?
I'm going to try to take on you, Anthony.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
You need this today, actually.
What the hell?
With your attitude, Marcia, you know you've been a part of this all day. We walked in, and all day long, you need this. You need someone to put you in your place, Anthony. Now get in the cone of silence, please. Thank you. Davai.
Tim.
Davai. Let's go.
Good luck.
Yes. Okay, you too.
All right, Tim. Anthony's going to the cone of silence here. Taking this sweet time, trying to stare me down. Ooh, never had that happen. All right, Tim. Go over the rules here. There'll be 4 questions. Each question worth 2 points. If you use the options and you answer correctly, it's worth 1 point. And, of course, if you get it wrong, well, there's no points. What I need from you right now, Tim, is for you to tell Marshy to spin that wheel.
Marshy, spin that wheel.
All right, Tim, what do you not want today against Anthony?
Probably don't want random or football.
Okay, well, good news, it's not random. Bad news, it's football.
It is
football. We got the foosball, and Anthony, he's been pretty good at this sport. And Marshy here is, there we go, get the launch codes. All right, buddy, let's see here. Category is football. Tim, good luck.
Thank you.
Question number 1. Name the player who recorded a 100-yard interception return touchdown in the Super Bowl. The longest defensive touchdown in Super Bowl history.
I'll have to go with the options on that.
All right. Was it James Harrison, Troy Polamalu, or Ryan Clark?
I'll take Clark, the third answer.
All right. Thank you.
Question number 2. The last time the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl, who did they defeat? 34-31.
I'll have to take the options on that one also.
Your options are the San Francisco 49ers, the New York Giants, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This is a total guess. I'm going to go with the Giants.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Tim, question 3. Franco Harris caught the immaculate reception, but who was the intended receiver?
Boy, I've watched it hundreds of times, and I can't think of who it would have been. I'll have to go with the options one more time.
Of course. All right, Tim, I'm going to battle through these options. If I'm pronouncing this one wrong, you'll have to just roll with me here.
No worries.
Was it John Fuqua, Lynn Swan, or John Stallworth?
Wow. Let's go with John Stallworth.
All right. Final answer?
Yes, final.
All right.
Question number 4. What city was the Super Bowl played in when the St. Louis Rams won the Super Bowl in January of 2000?
Well, I've been so bad on all these other picks. Shoot or shoot, I'm going to say Atlanta.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, let's get Anthony back in here from the Cone of Silence. Let's hope that he's had a little bit of an attitude adjustment along the way. Tim, how do you feel, buddy?
Not great.
Not great, huh? Okay. All right, well, Anthony's back in here, still mean mugging everybody, so we'll see how this goes. Anthony, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Are you feeling any better?
I felt great going out. Feel great coming in.
Okay. Good job. Marshy, tell Anthony.
Anthony, we're going to need you to pack a lunch.
Oh, boy. You ready?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Bring on that hockey.
Category is football. Question number 1. Name the player who recorded a 100-yard interception return touchdown in the Super Bowl. The longest defensive touchdown in Super Bowl history.
That was James Harrison for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Arizona Cardinals. James Harrison, final answer.
Is that the team that our very own Kerry Davis played on?
Yes. It's the team he got a Super Bowl ring
Congratulations,
for.
Kerry.
Happened right before half.
There you go.
Question number 2. The last time the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl, who did they defeat 34-31?
They beat the San Francisco 49ers, led by Colin Kaepernick, in New Orleans. That was the game that the halftime show caused the lights to go out.
Sure did.
49ers, final answer.
All right, question 3. Franco Harris caught the immaculate reception, but who was the intended receiver?
Had to be Lynn Swann, I would imagine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Lynn Swann. Lynn Swann, final answer.
Question number 4. What city was the Super Bowl played in when the St. Louis Rams won the Super Bowl in January of 2000?
Atlanta, final answer.
All right, let's go over these. Let's start right there. Question number 4. What city was the Super Bowl played in when the St. Louis Rams won the Super Bowl in January of 2000? Tim, you said Atlanta. Anthony, you also said Atlanta. Answer is...
It's Atlanta.
Neither of you needed the option.
Nice job, Tim.
We are all tied up 2-2 after 1. Let's go to the next question here. Question number 3. Franco Harris caught the immaculate reception, but who was the intended receiver? Tim, you said John Stallworth. Anthony, you said Lynn Swann. Marshy, answer is
John Fuqua.
Wow.
Is that the way you say it?
Fuqua.
Because it's F-U-Q-U-A. And I was worried about getting fired here today. Fouquet? I'm just going to move the feed
He's
here.
reading the question, and I'm looking at the answers. I'm like, this is going to be interesting. And I just see Jamie look up and go, oh, boy.
Like, really?
In this face.
Thanks, Grant. All the times I fired him, he wants me to get fired now.
Wow. Revenge.
All right, both of you got that wrong. So we're 2-2 after 2. Question number...
Really Fuqua'd up that time.
Question number 2. The last time the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl, who did they defeat 34-31? Tim, you took the option, said the New York Giants. Anthony, you did not take the options, and you gave us a whole paragraph as to what you remember from that day.
You're welcome.
You said the 49ers. Answer is...
Well, Anthony, even though you did bang your head into the side of a pool, you did remember that the correct answer is the San Francisco 49ers.
And
Thanks,
Anthony
Marcy.
did not use the option, so he's up 4-2, headed into our final question. Name the player who recorded a 100-yard interception return for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. The longest defensive touchdown in Super Bowl history. Tim, you said Ryan Clark. Anthony, you said James Harrison. Answer is
James Harrison.
Tim.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Anthony got you 6-2 today, Tim. Sorry about that, man.
That's okay. Ever since the Rams left, I don't follow football the way Anthony does. So I was hoping for baseball or hockey.
I'll say this, Tim. If you got hockey, you'd be advancing. So, sorry, man. I've had some struggles with hockey.
I live and die with the Cardinals, and I bleed blue, too. So I was hoping for one of those categories.
Well, I'm sorry that you didn't get the category. I'm also sorry that if you're living and dying by the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Blues. Tough year all around, Tim.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But, Tim, thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
All right. Had a blast, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, buddy.
Be careful on the roads, Tim.
All right. Take care.
All right. Take care.
All right. That's Tim here on 101 ESPN.
How do you feel right now?
I feel good.
Do you?
Yeah.
Tim seems like a really nice guy.
He did. He even pulled over on the side of the road.
Yeah. Really nice guy.
Very safe driver.
I feel bad he didn't get baseball or hockey.
Yeah. Do you?
No, I'm a competitor.
Not at all. I know exactly. So why don't lie?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't lying. I was trying to be nice.
Were you?
Yeah. Okay. I was trying to be nice, Jamie.
Okay, fine.
Just try it one time. Just once.
You're 100% right, Anthony. You're 100% right.
In all walks of life, you should just try it once.
I'm sorry.
To be a decent human being.
That you feel that way.
There it is. Jason Isringhausen is next. Is he will join us here on 101 ESPN. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's go to our celebrity line. We're joined by our guy, Jason Isringhausen, former Cardinals closer, who we affectionately call, and I know Cardinals fans do as well. Izzy, what's up, Izzy?
Hi, guys. How are we doing?
Well, not good, Izzy. Not good at all.
Well, first of all, Izzy, how was your weekend? I know you and the family went to enjoy some time, and let's start with something positive. How was the weekend, big boy?
How's your summer?
Well, we took a few days off. I took the girls down to Kentucky Lake, and I tried to break their backs on the inner tube, but I was unsuccessful.
Sorry about that, Izzy. That's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough one. Now, I don't want to hit you with any hard questions. Why are the Cardinals awful, Izzy? Let's just start there. From your viewpoint,
Mr. Negative,
they're 15 games below 500. The talent is there. What is the deal?
Well, I mean, where do we start? Really? I mean, and you know what? You know how I am. I've always taken responsibility, so I'll start with myself. We always talk about you got to do your job, so I'm going to start with myself. I guess I'm not preparing these guys good enough when they go up there. But you know, I'm still working with the minor league guys, and we're doing everything that we can to get these guys ready. And I'm not going to give you guys any great answers, no big insight to what's going on. It's just, you know, it boils down to everybody doing their job, and you know, I think it starts with everybody, and everybody's not doing their best job right now, and it's showing. I don't like the finger pointing. I don't like having excuses. I mean, it's just do your job, do better at it, and as anybody that's played sports know, you do your job, then things usually take care of themselves. But I mean, I can tell the fans and everybody listening, I can guarantee you that there's nobody working harder than the coaching staff and Mo and everybody trying to figure this thing out. But at some point, you know, you don't have answers, and it's just you just got to keep battling, and you find out what you're made out of during times like this. And when you can dig yourself out of the hole, you know, it's that old saying. It's not how many times you get knocked down, but how many times you keep getting back up and fighting. And that's all they can do right now.
Izzy, what is your feelings, or what are your thoughts on, you know, the blame game kind of going on with the whole Contreras thing?
Yeah, I just me personally, I don't get it. I don't buy it. For me, when I was playing, it always stopped with me. I mean, I was the last one out there, so if we didn't get the job done, it was usually my fault. And it's just the way it goes. I mean, I can't fathom blaming someone else's being someone else's problem is when I may leave a ball in the middle of the plate and they get hit. I see it happen. I know it's hard to make perfect pitches all the time, especially when things don't go good behind you and you're maybe be behind in the count or you're behind in the game and you're trying to make that perfect pitch and you're nibbling. It's just part of baseball. I mean, when things are going good, the game's easy. Things are going bad like they're not now. Everything's compounded. Everything's under a microscope. Every little thing you do wrong is exploited in the papers, on the radio, and the social media. It's never ending. And being the organization that we are, and we've always won, when we're having a bad year like we're doing now, it's just, you know, we're catching it from all sides. But like you, Jamie, I don't like the finger pointing. I mean, if you're going to point a finger at yourself and get better that way. And that's all I have to say about that. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not there in the clubhouse. I don't know what's going on. I heard this whole thing with Michael Kay saying that he's putting down buttons that they don't even have the pitches. I don't know anything about that, so I can't comment on it. But the finger pointing needs to stop, and everything needs to be in-house and taken care of there, and that should be the end of it.
Izzy, you were a guy that closed out games. Cardinal Hall of Famer, I mean, one of the best. And this bullpen this year, unfortunately, I think they're already at 17 blown saves. What happens at that point in the bullpen to where you're going through a stretch like this? What are you seeing from some of these guys right now?
Well, you're missing one of our big cogs in Helsley right now. And now that Jordan's on a roll and pitching well, like he wasn't pitching well at the beginning of the year when Helsley was pitching well. And now it's vice versa. Helsley's not there. Gio's getting pushed into situations like pitching in the 7th when he should be in the 8th or vice versa. And we're missing that one inning guy or that inning and a third guy right now. If Helsley was still closing, well, then you got Jordan getting an inning and a third every other day, and things are clicking and things are going well But right now, it seems like we're having that problem getting from the starter to the end of the game. And that's just part of, baseball and having injuries and next man stepping up and making good pitches and, getting a line drive hit at somebody or a blooper that doesn't find the hole, that it finds a glove. But yeah, the 17 already is not a good stat, but, they gotta start doing a better job. That's all I can say. I mean, everybody knows that. They know that. And it seems like everything's getting compounded right now, and it's just the way it is.
Former Cardinals closer and current Cardinals Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Izzy, as you mentioned, you work with these young men. You work with these pitchers. How far off, in your estimate, I know you're not speaking for the organization, I'm just asking, your opinion. How far off do you think that the Cardinals are from turning around their young pitching that they have in the organization so that, going out and signing somebody's great, trading for somebody that's great, but in-house is where you can turn it around the quickest? How far off are guys like Michael McGreevy and Tink Hence and, even Zach Thompson, who went down in the minors and now is back up?
Yeah, you got to remember, I mean, I flew through the minor leagues in 3.5 years, and I had maybe 300, 3.5, 400 innings under my belt when I got to the big leagues. We're rushing these kids to the big leagues with Andre Double-A with maybe 90 innings, and he was in the big leagues next year. And we're doing this with all of our pitching. It's a industry-wide thing. It's not just the Cardinals. I mean, getting the most money out of your investment as fast as you can is the business. And we're not, some of us, I believe we're not given the time to develop the guys. Now, some of these guys can jump up there and do great, and that's great. But some guys need some more polishing. Like King Kent's is, a few years away. Still, he's 20 years old. He's not even 21 yet.
Yeah.
You can't compare him to Dwight Gooden back in the day. It's just not fair to him. And it's not fair to the McGreevy's and the Graceffos and the guys like that to compare these. I mean, we have comps for them, but still, they're a year or two away to where they can really help us and stay there. We always say the easy part is getting to the big leagues. The hard part is staying there for years and years and years. And that's what I want. When one of our kids leaves the minor leagues, I don't ever want to see him again. I want them to stay in the big leagues for the rest of their career, but it just doesn't happen that way.
As you're talking about young guys and jumping into the league, just want to shift gears a little bit to a veteran guy. And our guy, Adam Wainwright, I mean, man, one of the best in the business, not just as a pitcher, but as a human being. And, he got injured at the end of last year, didn't end the season the way he wanted to, battled through some things early on this season, injury-wise, and this year just has not gone the way Adam Wainwright would like, finds himself on the IL right now. My question's not really about Adam Wainwright in this situation. Just want to kind of dive into your brain a little bit here. And, what are some of the struggles of a pitcher, an aging pitcher in a league where, every kid is foaming at the mouth to take you deep on every single pitch?
Well, everybody wants to get their hit off Adam Wainwright, it's just when you're a legend the way he is, 2 wins away from 200, pitch, 16, 17 years in the league, and you've done so much for the Cardinals organization. You've been part of a couple of World Series. You won World Series. You were the cool rookie back in the day. He took my job, and we blew through the playoffs. We won the World Series. Everything was great, but no matter who you are, no matter how great you are, you just can't outrun Father Time. You're just never going to beat him. And as we get older, the zip goes away from certain pitches. You don't get away with that pitch that's not directly on the black anymore. And, right now with Adam dealing with some stuff in his shoulder and his back and his legs, it's part of getting old, and you see it in every sport. You just don't move the way you used to. The ball doesn't come out of your hand the way it used to, and you think it's sad because, like, even today, and Jamie, you're probably the same way, the mind's willing, just the body is not able to do it anymore. And it's just part of getting old.
Yeah, that's I said that last week. I was like, at the end of my career, my brain was like, yeah, you still got it. You're still flying around out here. Then I was watching the video and it looked like I was pulling a Buick behind me. So
yeah, it never fails. I mean, I was the same way. I thought, man, that ball feels good coming out of my hand. look up at the scoreboard, it said 88. I was like, oh, boy.
So he's got this stint on the IL. Now, what can Adam Wainwright realistically do here with this time off to try and recapture some of his form, and if nothing else, at least get to that 200?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a big question for Adam and the organization. I don't know. I don't know the how injured he is. I don't know what's all wrong with him. When I see him, we don't talk about it. You know, we do the man hug and we see how the family's doing and stuff like that. And you know, I want him to come back. I want him to get those 2 wins, whether it's coming back, you know, as a reliever and pitching the 5th or the 6th or the 7th in a tie game, and then we score a run or something like that. But knowing Adam, I don't think he wants to do that. Gets 2 wins, so this is going to be up to him, as we all know. I mean, Adam is going to do what Adam can do in the organization. He has to get healthy. He has to get a little stronger, but I know also that his body maybe have some limitations on how strong he can get. So this is all going to be up to him and his body and his brain and how much mentally I know he thinks he can do it. I just pray that he can get back out there again and help the team and, you know, right the ship a little bit.
We all do. Absolutely. Izzy, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. Thanks for making some time with us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely, guys. Anytime. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Take care, man.
You. That's
See you,
Jason.
buddy.
See ya. That's Jason Isringhausen here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's tough.
It is.
It's tough. I feel like Izzy, and he often does this, he kind of offered just that reality. In a lot of respects, not just with Wainwright, but with like the young pitching, for example. And we can sit here and say, well, maybe this young pitching is coming up, and you could throw him into the fire. But as Izzy noted, especially somebody like Tink Hens, he's years away, potentially, unless he's a phenom. But there's few phenoms. There's more of the guys are they come up, they have maybe an average career, or they're out of the league quickly. If you get a really good one, you get 10 years maybe. But the phenoms are few and far between.
But even the phenoms, Anthony. So if you define phenom, you get the anomaly that pops in and requires very little to no time in the minor leagues. But then even when you get Hall of Famer pitchers, they've marinated for 3 or 4 years in the minors before coming up to get an opportunity in the majors. So there's no like fix it now with the young player. Tink Hens he's had an incredible trajectory here over the last couple of seasons. 2 years ago, I didn't even know who this guy was. Last year, we started to hear about him a little bit. Now he's like the pitcher in waiting type thing.
Yeah.
So he might be a Cardinal in 2 years and be a 20-win guy. You never know.
Or he starts his career, and then we'll see.
Yeah.
There's that reality, too.
Yeah.
He comes up in 2 years. That's the start of his career from a big league standpoint.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's depressing. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We do have Jeremy Rutherford, who's going to join us in about 15 minutes. We'll talk a little Blues hockey with JR. Should Mo not have gambled on hope when it comes to the season? Well, it's obvious. But Mo's got a message for everybody. Every single one of you in Cardinals land. You probably know what it is already. That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lose to the Marlins yesterday by a final score of 15-2. They'll take on the Marlins once again tonight. Game 3, 5:40 coming your way. First pitch, Matthew Liberatore on the mound going up against Brian Hoeing. City SC took down Colorado this weekend by a final score of 2-0. They'll be in Toronto on Saturday, 6:30 start time. Newest Blue, Kevin Hayes, he joined the show earlier today. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. You can find the full show, including all of our interviews, the Hayes interview, the Jason Isringhausen interview that we just had, and, of course, the one that we'll have here in about 10-15 minutes with Jeremy Rutherford. You can all find that on the 101 page and the 101 app. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. John Mozeliak said this on Sunday on KMOX. He says, quote, I do think that some of the decisions we made, some of the guys we were trying to give opportunities to, it just hasn't worked. It's very fair to say we should have done more or could have done more, and hopefully you learn from that. Jamie, I also know that he had mentioned something that you appreciated, and I think all Cardinals fans would appreciate.
Oh, who wouldn't?
Mm-hmm.
Be patient.
Yeah, just be patient.
Mm-hmm.
Things will turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Just be patient, guys.
I think if I was John Mozeliak, I would break out a... there goes Anthony throwing a chair.
It's hard to be patient when you're 15 games below 500 and you have no pitching.
I couldn't agree more. As I was saying, I think I would break open the old thesaurus and try to find another word for patient, because I think Cardinal Nation is vomiting hearing the word patient.
That's a good call.
You know,
let's find a new word.
That's what politicians do, right?
Yeah.
Is they find a word, they exhaust it, then change the word that to another word that means the exact same thing, and they use that word.
Yeah. You ready? Let's find a new one.
Let's go.
Be calm. Forbearing.
I don't think that works.
Okay.
No.
Composed?
Yeah. Composed.
Understanding? Kind. Considerate.
Yeah, see, I don't think any of that will fall.
Preserving?
Preserving?
No. Persevering. I read that.
Persevering.
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 I can't read.
What the hell's wrong with you?
What about
Tenacious.
Back to the orange group.
Yeah. I was always there. Tenacious.
No, that's not it. That is not it.
I have one. It's my favorite one so far. Thesaurus.com, the word patient, one of the words is philosophic and philosophical.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of those words would help here in Cardinal Nation.
Okay. Now we're back to square one. Yeah. I mean...
I'll be patient, Anthony.
What about long suffering? I feel like that's been going on a lot here.
That's true, because then you could just be that way. You just, hey, all I'm asking for, like if you're Mo, all I'm saying is just be long suffering.
It actually works.
That actually works.
It works right now.
Yeah,
but are you really
Marsh.
long suffering? I mean, you won the division last year.
True. Yeah, but you didn't win the World Series.
I understand that, Andrew, but you won a division. I think Cardinal Nation, but I think Cardinal Nation right now would go, I'll take that. I'll take winning the division. Give me back that division win in a crappy division.
Sorry, complained.
It's way better than being
fault.
last place in a crappy division.
Yeah. I do like this, though. I do like this. It's very fair to say we should have done more or could have done more, and hopefully you learn from that.
It's very fair. You didn't learn. You had 2 of these seasons, maybe 3 off seasons like this. How many more does it take, Anthony? I don't know.
Think about this, too. You acquired Paul Goldschmidt and you acquired Nolan Arenado. And in the end, it still hasn't been enough.
No.
You haven't done enough to supplement your roster, to put enough around those 2 guys to avoid an absolutely disastrous season. You have 2 Hall of Famers on the corners of your infield. 2 guys, one of which won the MVP. The other guy finished in the top 3. You have 2 guys that are absolute studs, and you are 15 games below 500. It's fair to say we could have and should have done more, and hopefully you learn from that. I would hope so. Your pitching is that bad. And I realize it's not all the pitching.
No,
but it's a little tough.
They're all sharing it.
Let me do this for a second. Because anytime we say we start to harp on something, whether it's the offense or the bullpen, we start to get the text. No, that's not the only problem. Yes, we know.
We're aware.
So let's just list them all off then, okay?
Wait a minute, we have a 4-hour show.
Your pitching, your starting pitching, your bullpen has been your starting pitching has been an issue. Your bullpen has been an issue. Your defense has been an issue. Your managing has been an issue. Your offense has been an issue. Injuries have been an issue.
Base running
has been an issue. Your mascot has been an issue. According to us,
been great. Below
have we covered it? Like, do we have to do that every time?
Yeah, I understand. I understand both sides of that. The one is we're isolating the biggest problem, and then the other side is, but that's not the only problem. We know that. But John Mozeliak and the Cardinals can't fix everything in one swoop.
Well, you better get aggressive. Doug Armstrong got aggressive at the I know,
but he also had to sacrifice-ish
exactly.
the rest of the season.
Right. So make a decision for once.
I completely agree.
Make a decision. Army had to get a little uncomfortable,
and the Blues weren't that far out.
Exactly
going to the deadline.
No, but Army knew it. Looking at his team, he knew that this was not the team to be buying at the deadline.
Do you know why? Because that's part of his job.
Yeah.
To figure out what he has, what he doesn't have, and then to acquire what he does have, what he does need, I mean. You have to make that assessment, and that assessment should be over with now. Your team stinks. You didn't assemble a good team. It's not just one entity. It is a roster that has gone sideways. You don't have a good roster. You don't have a good... I'm not saying it's not talented. It's a talented roster. Some of these guys will go off and do good things. That's just part of it. But this mix of players does not work. And they have proved it to you. They've proved it. So if I'm Mo, I'm sitting here, I'm saying, okay, one, it's my fault. I put it together. But I thought I put together a talented enough roster. You have proved me otherwise. So in 3 weeks, I'm getting rid of most of you. I am getting assets in return so I can fix this thing in a hurry.
He said assets, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the part where he says some of the guys we were giving or we're trying to give opportunities to, it just hasn't worked out. And so that kind of goes back off of what you said. Maybe they go somewhere else and they succeed. I think maybe right now you have too many guys that were, I'll call them hope players. You were hoping that they would be good this year.
Yeah, 4 of those guys were in your rotation, by the way.
And they're not good.
Right.
That doesn't mean that some of the younger players won't be good in maybe 2 years. But for this year, you had too many of those guys that you were relying on to have a good ball club. You had a lot of guys that were, I'll call it like their like sophomore year, right? There's a lot of players have sophomore slumps or, their third year they have slumps. And that's with any sport, right? Not every player's going to be great every single season. Hell, even Nathan McKinnon wasn't that great one of his years, and now he's one of the best NHL players in the entire world. But I think you have too many of those hope players on your team, and that's why they're not good.
Yeah, no doubt. You have to be okay too. At some point, you have to make peace with the fact that some of these guys might have success elsewhere. And we as fans, I'm talking we, not just who we're talking to now. We, all of us as Cardinals fans, need to get over that too. We need to get over Randy Arozarena. We need to get over Adolis Garcia. We need to get over some of those guys. And I know some of you are probably saying, well, why? It's Mo's fault. We don't know what the roster makeup would have led to. This season, above all else, has proven to us that it's not just about talent. Because this is a talented team, certainly more talented than what the record would indicate. It is the wrong mixture of players. So let's start to break this thing down. Vote Jamie and I, GM and President of Baseball Operations.
Yeah, let's do this. It couldn't get any worse right now, could it?
No, it couldn't.
Get a lot more fun.
Couldn't.
As Herb Brooks once said, I don't need the best players. Oh, he did say that too. He said, I don't need the best players, I need the right ones.
Exactly. And what did Herb do?
They won the 1980 gold medal against the Russians.
Did you just pause to figure out the year?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, seemed like it a little bit.
That's okay.
So like 1980.
Well, I might have said like 1980 Miracle on Ice, but that wouldn't have told you what they won. It's just what it is.
You did it.
I appreciate you, Anthony.
You did it, man. This guy's trying to trip you up all the time.
You looked at me and started to smirk, so screw off.
You guys aren't talented enough to win on talent alone.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not.
Yeah. Where are you from?
Why were you looking at Anthony there?
You're right. I'm not supposed to look at him as one of the rules.
Seriously. You need to figure it out, man.
Head back down, Marsh. Jeremy Rutherford next. Talk a little Blues hockey here on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you haven't head out to Auto Centers Nissan of Wood River yet, if you didn't do it over the weekend when you had a little time, okay, don't worry about it. Head out there this weekend. They've got great deals going on all the time, whether you're looking at an SUV, a car, a truck. They've got them. They got great pricing. In fact, they've got over 700 vehicles on the lot ready to go for you to choose from, look at, and they got financing options for everyone. Good credit, bad credit, doesn't matter. Auto Centers Nissan of Herculaneum, they know that they will put you in a good, they know that they've got financing options that will fit any family, whether you got a large family and you're on a tight budget, or you could spend a little bit, invest in something that maybe your dream car, whatever that may be. They've got financing options for you. They have a 30-day return promise, which is within 30 days you can bring back the new Nissan and they will give you a return. They'll return your money, and you could pick out something else that you might be looking at. Maybe it's a situation where you get it home and I don't know, it's just you're like, I don't really love that color. No problem. They got the 30-day return promise. But at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they will find the right car for you. They do have the great dealership experience, and they also make sure that they finance a vehicle for you. So head down to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you, and get yourself a nice new ride.
It's time for the Rutherford Report on 101 ESPN.
Anything you folks want to know about the fascinating world of pro hockey, here we go.
Earlier today, our guy Jeremy Rutherford from The Athletic released an excellent piece on the two Blues prospects that hope to carry forth the legacy of a legend from their home country. And JR is here to talk about it with us via the celebrity line. What's up, JR?
Hey, boys. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. So what did you learn about the Blues prospects, and what made you think about writing a piece like this to talk about their home country?
Yeah, it's so interesting. Obviously, Pavel Demitra, a beloved figure in the Blues franchise, and just a tragic passing back in 2011. But you're sitting at the draft, and they go number 10. They go with Dvorsky from Slovakia. Then they get to the third round, and they pick the other gentleman, Pekarsik, from Slovakia. And you think to yourself, Pav. Like, I always think Pav when I hear Slovakia. And so I walked up to talk to these kids. And now keep in mind, they've just been drafted. They're so excited. But everything that comes out of their mouth is happy to be here. This is a dream come true. It's a lot of cliches. So I try to think of some different questions. And I say, hey, do you know Pav Demitra? Do big deal back in Slovakia? Did you have any memory of him? And here's a kid who was 5-6 years old when Pavel Demitra played in the NHL, 6 years old when he passed away, and he says, heck yeah, he's a legend. I love Pavel Demitra. I have his stick back in my room. I watched YouTube clips of him. And so you kind of get to a place where you feel like there could be a story there. Talk to Keith Tkachuk, who's always willing to talk about Pavel Demitra, and you have a story. So it blows me away that here these kids are 5-6 years old when Pav stopped playing, and they're certainly familiar with him.
Yeah, they are. And they're two pretty talented individuals as well, which is always great to see. And, JR, I know that Dalibor Dvorsky over the course of the weekend really turned some heads down at Prospect Camp. You were there firsthand. What did you see from the young man?
Best player I've seen at a Blues prospect camp since I've been covering them. You look back and you look at the high draft picks that the Blues have had. A couple of them, Jamie, have been defensemen with Eric Johnson and also Alex Pietrangelo. I guess you could bring like a Vladimir Tarasenko and Jaden Schwartz into the mix. That was right about the time when you had the lockout back in 2012. So I don't even remember if there was a development camp this year or that year. But you look at Dvorsky, and he just had everything. He had the hands. He had the patience. He was elusive. He played physical even. And he had the whole package. And 3 or 4 times, everybody stood on their feet there at Centene, oohed and awed, and you knew that Dvorsky had the puck on his stick, and that's what happened. So he's going to be a good one. He's under contract at least one more year, I think. In Sweden, he's going to play. So is he going to be a Blue in 2 years, 3 years? I asked him that. He said that's the challenge, that's the test. I'll try to get here as soon as I can. But bar none, the best player I've seen at a development camp. So
a couple other guys, too, at the camp that I'm curious to get your thoughts on. The first one is Zachary Bolduc. It's no secret. He had a pretty good camp 2 years ago, and then Doug Armstrong on record saying that, listen, he didn't have a great camp last year, and it's a privilege to, extend your preseason and play some games in the NHL, and he felt like he had work to do. Well, Zachary Bolduc went back to work this year, scored 50 goals plus in the Quebec League and won a Memorial Cup. What did you think of his weekend?
Yeah, Riv, I thought he had his moments where he looked really good. He's an offensive player, 100 goals the past couple of years with the junior team, and obviously won the Memorial Cup this year. So I think he had his moments. Now, I know there were people at the camp, fans, and, they get on the social media boards and, talk about some of the mistakes that he made. First of all, I don't put too much stock into a development camp in terms of how good a player is or he isn't. Did he have a good week? It remains to be seen. What you say about this kid is he's played a ton of hockey in the past year. You're talking Blues camp, NHL camp. Then he goes back to have his junior season. Then he plays the the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League playoffs. Then he goes to the Memorial Cup. And then now that just ended a couple months ago, and here he is at the development camp. So here's a situation where this kid's played a ton of hockey, has to be a bit dinged up and a little bit fatigued, but I think he had his moments, and I'm going to have a piece on him at the Athletic on Friday where I kind of get into the progress that he's made in the past year since he was at Blues camp last year. So, good player. I think he's got a lot of upside. We'll see what he can bring in September.
Jeremy Rutherford joining us right now in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. At JP Rutherford is where you can follow him on Twitter. Of course, check out his great work at The Athletic. Wanted to ask you about a player you covered to this point his entire career, at least up until the trade deadline. Vladimir Tarasenko fired his agent, JR. That's typically an indication that he's not hearing some figures that he wants to hear. What do you think is going to be the future of Vladdy now that he finally has an opportunity to test the market?
Yeah, I should have a story up on that any minute now. I've been working on it the past couple hours. Spoke with his new agent, J.P. Barry, with CAA Hockey. He has left Paul Theophanis. And, here's a situation where you go back to 2020. Vladimir Tarasenko left Mike Liut. He wanted a trade. He wanted to get the shoulder worked on. Theophanis was the agent who suggested he go to Colorado and get that done in Vail. He did, so he struck a relationship with Theophanis. Now he gets to this point in his career in free agency. He's trying to get that contract, and whatever happened behind closed doors with Theophanis, Vladdy didn't like it, so he calls CAA Hockey yesterday, and now he changes agents again. So this is third agent in 3 years, and it's a situation where I talked to J.P. Barry today, and he said, we are just starting over. We're calling all the teams today. We heard there was a report that he was close to a deal with Carolina. We're going to call Carolina, talk to them. So, yeah, it's a tough market. The numbers aren't there, I don't think, for a 31, 32-year-old like Vladdy. If he wants $6 million plus, I think those offers are more in the 5, maybe 6 range. And I think the fit for him is going to be important. He's not going to go to a team that's not a contender, I don't think. So they're starting over, and we're a week into free agency. Vladdy doesn't have a home, and the dollars are tight, so it's going to be tough for his new agent to find him a deal.
JR, do you think this is creating a bit of a pattern for Vladimir Tarasenko? Because the first thing I do when I'm a GM is I'm looking at patterns for this player. One, his play on the ice. What's the pattern that I've seen? And his injury history. And then his public demand of a trade, and then changing agents right before that, then changing agents again. And, I see a pattern here. As a media guy and someone who's been around the sport a long time, how do you think that plays into all of this?
100% I do. 100% it's a pattern. And I think that people started to pick up on that pattern years ago. And I think when he left Mike Liut, I had so many people say to me, how do you leave Mike Liut? What could that be? And so he goes to Paul Theophanis. And Paul Theophanis has a reputation of being, the type of guy that, he's ruffled some feathers over the course of his years as an agent. And so he goes to Paul Theophanis, and Vladdy, I talked to him several times throughout the trade requests and things like that. And he was behind everything that Theophanis was doing. Theophanis was taking all the heat for the trade request and the way things were handled and the comments that were made. Vladdy was lockstep with him. And so now, obviously, that didn't go the right way. And now you go to a new agent and you add in everything that you just said, the trade requests, the 3 agents in 3 years, the injury history, him being 32 years old. I think that's a huge red flag for teams who are looking at him in free agency, and probably why he's not getting a long-term deal with the numbers that he wants. Because, you could still play to 35, 36. But if teams are looking at it like, hey, Vladdy, we'll take you for the year, we'll give you this much, it's because they probably don't want a long-term marriage with Tarasenko based on that history we talked about.
JR, I look forward to that piece that you have coming out on Vladdy. We'll get some more insight from you there, too. And have a good rest of your week.
Yep, sounds good. Yep, should be up soon.
Excellent. Thanks, JR.
All right, see you.
That's Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues Insider with The Athletic here on 101 ESPN. We've got What's Trending coming up next, including some Cardinals moves that maybe you missed from earlier in the day or earlier in our show. What's Trending next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
trending in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered. What's trending now?
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill and get a half-price Cardinals ticket voucher.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Guys, yesterday, a 15-2 loss to the Miami Marlins. Adam Wainwright, he went 3 1/3. He gave up 7 hits, 7 runs. Only 4 of those were earned. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Today, Adam Wainwright has been placed on the 15-day IL with a right shoulder strain. Andrew Kisner joins him. He's been placed on the 10-day IL with a groin injury. Ivan Herrera, Dakota Hudson, and Zach Thompson have been recalled from Memphis. James Nail has been optioned to AAA.
So my 3 thoughts on this
That's
are
a
this.
lot of action.
That is. My 3 thoughts on that are this. One, I hope that Adam Wainwright can get away here for a little bit, come back, get 2 more victories, get the 200 get the 200 wins, celebrate in a Cardinal uniform, and then go from there. That's number 1. Number 2, I hope Zach Thompson gets an opportunity to start games in the second half of the season. And 3, I hope Ivan Herrera has opportunities to catch in the second half of the season. I want to see a little bit of a youth movement here.
Well, you will. You have to, in my opinion. One, you don't have any pitching, so you have to throw whatever you have out there. Right now, it's youth.
What do you mean? No pitching.
You have none. In fact, now you have injured pitchers.
What?
So, I think that Zach Thompson will get an opportunity. I think he has to. Quite honestly, I think John Mozeliak and the Cardinals have to know what they have. Going into the next offseason, what do we have? What do we truly have? That's why Matthew Liberatore is up here as early as he was. We got to find out, can this guy do it or not? They moved Steven Matz to the bullpen. They obviously don't feel like Steven Matz is part of the solution, at least not right now. Who knows? He might work his way back into the rotation because of a need for a body in the rotation. He hasn't been pitching terrible recently out of the bullpen. I mean, it's a scaled-down version of what he's used to, or is it? Actually, quite honestly, probably about the same amount of innings based on the fact that he didn't. Well, no, I'm being honest, Anthony. You should try it. And so he, for most of the season, he wasn't pitching past, 3 innings or so. And as far as Herrera goes, that one to me is the one that's the most intriguing. Like, how the hell are you handling that? Honestly, because you literally just gave $87.5 million to a catcher. And I understand, you can move him to the DH and Herrera becomes the catcher, but is Contreras now a roadblock for Herrera?
Would you trade Contreras?
If you're good.
To where? Right now, there's no market for that guy.
I'd trade them all, Marsh.
This is like a Torrey Krug situation.
But this isn't. Actually, it's worse. This is a Vladimir Tarasenko situation, to where you've got a guy who's coming off a couple of so-so seasons, injured, disgruntled, not happy. Contreras is none of those things, but the market was not extremely high for Tarasenko at the time. So dealing him from that position of weakness was no good for Army. Right. So right now, who is lining up for $87.5 million with Willson Contreras? Who? Not one team would take that contract. One, I think the Cardinals gave him 1 year extra more than any other team would have given him. And I don't remember there being a massive financial battle to get Willson Contreras from multiple teams, multiple suitors. Now, I'm not saying there weren't other teams that were interested. But right now, if you said, by the way, you pick up the phone or you send out your John Mozeliak and you send out your email to all the other GMs, Willson Contreras now available.
You think he's typing that hard?
Hit me up. Oh, he's going hard. He's hitting that hard. Send. Who do you think's responding? Truthfully, who do you think is calling you for Willson Contreras? So that's my point.
The Padres, they make bad decisions.
They do, and hopefully they'll make another one.
San Diego.
Maybe.
Get A.J. Preller on the phone.
Fine.
They don't have anything anymore because they traded away all their guys. But nonetheless, San Diego.
Okay, Anthony.
That's the answer.
Now, give a real answer.
San Diego.
Give a real answer. As far as trading Willson Contreras, this is not the right time. You'd be better off to wait, and hopefully he heats up and starts crushing the ball, and then you can start to maybe kick the tires around. But I think it's a bit of an issue for the Cardinals moving forward here. If Herrera comes up and plays well, they've got an $87 million roadblock on the roster.
If Ivan Herrera comes up and plays well, I actually don't think you have a problem.
Okay.
You roll.
Sure you do. That's just your answer for everything. Oh, yeah, it's fine.
You
It's a
have
great
him be
problem
the
to
catcher?
have.
And Contreras is your DH?
I'm sorry, Jamie. Sorry, I want to see a young guy come up and do something for the Cardinals.
That's what I want
That's
too,
my
Anthony.
fault.
The problem is the old guy's in the way.
Put him at DH. Put him at first base when you trade Goldie to Houston for some pitching.
There you go again. Here, yeah, I talked about Tanner earlier playing the GM mode in video games.
Yeah.
Anthony does it's the same thing all the time. Prospects, trade them.
Well, Anthony's trading creative player Bob for
totally is.
all these different prospects.
Anyways.
It's not true. I'm trying to make the Cardinals better. I'm trying to be proactive. All I hear about.
We're trying to make the team better too.
All I hear
We're trying to be realistic.
I hear from you guys,
Fantasy land over there.
all I hear from you guys is you got to do something. You got to do something. You got to do something. And then I bring up a solution.
We don't like that solution.
And you don't like it.
It's not realistic.
It is totally
No,
realistic.
It really isn't. It's not.
Why is it not realistic?
Because, Anthony, you're just trading everybody away. And you're just, like, Goldie has a no-trade clause. Now what? Here's some reality right in the face for you.
Hey, Goldie.
Hey, Torrey Krug, would you waive your no-trade? No, I won't. Hey, Paul Goldschmidt, you want to go over here? No, I don't. Now what?
Hey, Paul Goldschmidt,
now you got
you're
Goldie
37.
And
do you want to sniff a World Series in your career? Do you want to sniff a World? Do you want to play for a contender?
It's just a hunk of metal.
Do you want to win a World Series? And if he tells you no,
he's going to say this. He's going to say
then
yeah.
That's a bigger problem.
I do, John. I do, Mo. I want to win a World Series. Here, where you told me you were going to provide a team with that.
Just got goosebumps.
So guess
I
what?
did. I provided you Nolan Arenado, and you guys can't get it done.
Unlike you
So
are.
I need to get a pitcher.
Anthony wants to trade him to San Francisco.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, he does, probably.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Get
He
outta
said
here.
it before.
Are you kidding me?
Scumbag.
Are you kidding me? He would never fit on that team. He's not a part-time player.
That's fair.
Well,
yeah.
It is October.
One last thing here, guys. Ryan O'Reilly over the long weekend. Wait, what did you say? What was that last part?
No.
All right, I'll go back.
He said he's not a part-time player.
Gotcha.
And then I said, there's always October.
Harsh but true.
It's just a month. Halloween. Great holiday.
You get to dress up like stuff that you normally can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just wear it more often.
For some people.
Depending on what you dress up as.
Guys, over the long weekend, NHL free agency got underway, and we talked a little bit about this earlier in the show, but Ryan O'Reilly, a Nashville Predator, just initial thoughts when you saw this happen.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think he's going to... It feels dirty, honestly. It feels dirty that he's going to be a Nashville Predator. I was fine with him.
Like, what kind of dirty?
Wearing that big blue leaf on his
It's a
chest.
white leaf.
It is a white leaf, isn't it?
All right. It's blue on the white jersey, though.
Yeah.
No, it's a blue.
I mean, you're half
Yeah.
right.
You just made Anthony feel stupid.
No, I didn't. He's half right. Like normal. He's half right.
Which
compliment.
Which half was I right on the Goldschmidt trade?
Well, we'll find out because we haven't got there yet.
No, they ain't going to
That
trade
might be
him.
one you missed.
Here's the thing. They're going to put their huevos rancheros on the plate to do something like that. And as we know, they won't do that.
So what about Ryan O'Reilly?
Well, they haven't been touching
It
the plate
feels
a lot
dirty
this year.
that he's going to be a Predator. You know, nobody knows that Buffalo had a team when he played for the Buffalo Buffaloes.
I didn't know that was a team, yeah.
Exactly. So you're fine with that.
you did.
Then when he went up to the Maple Leafs, I mean, they're the Maple Leafs. You play for Nashville?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's tough. Look,
It feels wrong.
It does feel wrong. But Ryan O'Reilly, let's be honest, you don't have the cap space. And you weren't when you traded for Kevin Hayes, you indirectly told Ryan O'Reilly there'll be there'll be no coming back.
John Fuqua.
Yeah. But you told him. You told him, I don't have the cap space. And I can tell you this, guys. There is absolutely no way in heck that Doug Armstrong would have given 4 years to that player. It would have been 2, maybe 3 if Ryan O'Reilly would have agreed to a lower salary. We'll stretch it. We'll give you 3. Absolutely no way Army would have given Ryan O'Reilly 4 years. So Ryan O'Reilly, congratulations to him. He made a really good decision. He's going to a team that, A, needs a leader in their locker room. Barry Trotz is a heck of an individual. I mean, a quality guy. He will really appreciate Ryan O'Reilly. He got 4 years on his deal, and he got $4.5 million. It's a great day for Ryan O'Reilly.
And he gets to play the guitar. Huge.
Oh, he'll be down there one of those open mics,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, boy.
He's got that beard. He's a handsome devil. He's going to wear that hat. He'll be playing guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Waino will be singing.
That would be something.
They could start a band. What would we call them? What would the band be called?
What would they call them?
Ooh, yeah.
Anthony, you're the best when it comes to naming things. Boats.
You're right, Marsh. I am. Let's think here.
Something here.
Uncle Charlie and the Captain. Captain Uncle Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
We'll work on it.
Yeah. Maybe the Fear Factor.
The Fear
What are they afraid of?
Well, a factor, that's his name.
Yeah,
but that doesn't incorporate Waino.
Waino gets totally scammed.
It's been
Big
tough
League
watching
Factor.
The Big League Factor.
The Big League Factor.
Yeah.
I mean, it works on multiple levels.
It sure does.
We can workshop it later.
Certainly.
I actually like that, Anthony.
Well, Jamie and Marsh don't want to do anything with this pitching staff because they think it's fine. I think it needs to be rebuilt. Yeah. So I'll try to convince these guys that without pitching, you're not going to win anything. That's next on 101 ESPN. Well, Jamie, one thing that we can count on when we call our guy Stewie is that he's got information for us and he's going to teach us something. Stewie, what's a recast?
Anthony, a lot of people have a challenge in this market. They want to go and buy a house. They want to sell their old house that they're presently living in. The problem is the sellers don't want any contingency on the sale of your present residence. They want the money. They don't want to have to worry that it's not going to close. You're not going to be able to sell your house. So here's how you solve the problem. It's called a recast. You buy your house, you put the minimum amount down, say 5%, you close, and then later on after you sell your house, you take the money you've earned, the proceeds from the sale, you put it against the loan. If you have PMI, they'll drop the PMI, and they'll recalculate the payment for you for no additional cost. So it's almost like a refinance without having to go through the process. This gives you the ability to walk in and buy it, worry later about selling it. After you get the proceeds, you get the payment that you want, and it's really simple to do. Lenders don't tell you about that because they want you to refinance. You're protected with the interest rate. This is the best way to go.
Anthony, you don't get answers like that just from anybody. Honestly, Stu, you amaze me all the time, and our 101 ESPN listeners, if you're in the market at all for refinancing, debt consolidation, you're purchasing a home, whatever it is, please take the time and call our guy Stewie. He's going to take incredible care of you. That number is 314-324-4440.
Again, 324-4440.
And if you missed that number, what can they do?
You can always Google the bagel loan. Stewie, thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. Got a fascinating text, Marsh. Do you want to save it or you want to read it right now?
I think we should save it because we could have, another 10, 15 minutes of who knows
what they're claiming we have
for sure
on the Fast Lane.
What do we got? I missed all that. I was in the little boys' room.
Well, just wait for criticisms and compliments. This was all
right.
This was a criticism like no other.
What?
Oh yeah. All right. Does this entire pitching staff need to be rebuilt? I would say yes, including the bullpen, Jamie. This bullpen has, and I'm not saying it's all their fault because the starters aren't pitching deep into games, but it's also Major League Baseball in this current era where the starting staffs, they're not working deep into games as it is. If you have a veteran like a Max Scherzer or Verlander or even somebody that's not as decorated and he's good, but not as decorated as those two, a Pablo Lopez where you're pitching deep into a game, okay. But staffs as a whole, Marshy, are not going deep into games. So you're going to have a bullpen that you want to rely on if you're going to shorten things up. And the Cardinals don't have that. I brought this up earlier. This isn't just a James Nail thing, but I just happened to be watching the game yesterday as he was pitching, and I thought they don't have guys that are coming up that are, at the very least, they have the ability to miss bats. Even young guys of their bullpen. The A's can bring up guys that throw 98. This whole staff, I think, needs to be reworked. It's not just the starters. It's the relievers. And I mentioned this before with Jordan Hicks. You could try to bring him back. You could try to re-sign him. You could try to say, if we have Hicks and Helsley and Gallegos and Cabrera, we feel good about the bullpen. But you had that going into the year. Now, maybe if you fix the starting staff, maybe those four guys will be good. But I would try to use Jordan Hicks as a trade chip. Somebody's going to overpay. And then when you think about the young pitchers that are down in the minors, Jamie, where are some of these guys? Adam Wainwright started off in the bullpen. Lance Lynn started off in the bullpen. I don't think Michael Walker did, but Michael Walker was, highly touted prospect, and we came up, they needed him to start. But you get the idea. There's guys that have started off in the bullpen that came up and then wound up working their way into the starting staff. Are you still doing that? I think they've kind of lost their way here.
Well, here's where I think they've lost their way. And it's never a good thing to have this problem. You literally have the same pitcher.
Yeah.
Nothing but the same pitcher. The Cardinals have fed so far into the pitch to contact and the ballpark that they play in for half the season that I think that they've just gotten carried away. They've gotten all these nice pitchers that have some pretty good stuff in pitch to contact. They don't have the guy with wipeout stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly don't have two.
No.
I don't even know if they have two with the capabilities of being that.
No, certainly not at this level. And guys that aren't years away.
Or guys that are knocking at the door. It's not.
Well, you've guys like Dakota Hudson and Jake Woodford. To your point, they're the same. They're the same guy.
If you had no numbers or names on the back of those jerseys, and a common person, not a Cardinals fan, was to watch those guys, they wouldn't be able to tell them apart.
No. It's like, why are you pitching this guy 2 days in a row? Why is this guy starting 2 days in a row? Actually, it's a different person.
Yeah, and they're
it's like
not
Mac
alone.
Jones and Bailey Zappi. It's the same guy.
Pretty close. But they're not alone. Because, quite honestly, Miles Michaelis is that way. Now, he's better. He's more talented, and he's got a better track record. I'm not saying that Miles Michaelis isn't a better pitcher than Dakota Hudson or Jake Woodford. Stylistically, though, Adam Wainwright, even Uncle Charlie last year, and in the good moments before he was having some of these problems and injuries and whatnot, he was pitch to contact. They're all so much alike. Even Andre Palante, who can get it up to 98 on the gun, he's like, all he wants to get him in there, he gets it down in the zone. He gets ground balls. So Andre Palante, who's throwing 98, is basically being coached into pitch to contact.
Yeah.
So I just don't, stylistically, on any pro sports team, any sports team in general, you try not to have the exact same players stylistically. The Cardinals, that's what's happened here, is their scouting staff has gone way too overboard into the pitch to contact thing, and we have great defense. Well, what have we seen happen this year? When the defense has a hiccup, how does the pitching work out for you?
Well, you don't have the shift either.
I know, but they're still supposed to have guys. Other teams don't have the shift either.
I know, but to your point, I'm agreeing with you. You have elite defenders, but they're not the one that we've seen a drop off. And two, when you have pitch to contact guys, and the ball's coming off at 108.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, your lateral movement is not going to be a factor if
ask
the
Ozzie
exit
Smith
velo
about that, Andrew.
Well, the exit velo is like
if this team had
110.
Ozzie and Bob Gibson,
I wish
we'd be
did,
all right.
Actually.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That's the thing. You keep hearing, well, we're making good pitches, they're getting contact, but they're hitting it where we're not. Okay.
Right. Well, it's like, how about and I know the turf was weird, so I shouldn't use this, but even the rocket that Arenado, remember the one game
off the springboard there in London?
It's still, it's off the bat at 106.
Both teams had to deal with it. They did. So the fact that Nolan Arenado missed the ball, the Cubs had to deal with that turf too.
Mm-hmm. The Cubs also have pitchers that miss bats.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Oof. I'm just saying.
And they're 1-2. I believe they're all-stars this year.
Stupid Cubs. They're better than you. Better than us right now. And they're in fourth place. They're laughing.
I just got called out on the text line. And
what'd you say?
No, honestly, justifiably so. 618. Yeah. Jamie just used stylistically so much it's lost its meaning to me. I agree. I kind of got stuck in a little bit of a rut there.
It happens.
And I was trying to find another word quickly, and the hamster was drunk in his wheel and just kept going back and hitting stylistically.
Yeah,
So to all of our listeners, I apologize for stylistically saying that too much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As a good apology.
Yeah.
We'll look up Marsh, pull up the
stylistically.
Yeah. Pull up our thesaurus again.
Stylistically, that's not usually the way I go with things.
Yeah.
Usually have a plethora of words.
Right.
But stylistically, this time I got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if that's a real word. I know stylistic is. We have eloquent, so eloquently, or rhetorically.
No, none of that has to do with.
There's only two of them.
Yeah. That's not even close to what I was trying to say, but it doesn't matter. It's how it was heard that matters.
I want all of our listeners right now to just be long-standing, okay? Suffering. Long suffering.
Long suffering.
Long suffering.
Long standing.
Standing.
I've been standing for like the whole show. My back is killing me.
What about
I regret my
long
choices today.
I feel like we can't sit down because these stupid cameras are on now.
Yeah, what happens if we sit down? Does it follow me? I don't know if it follows me.
Do
you want me to check?
Walls have eyes.
Are you guys sitting right now? It looks fine.
I'm not sitting.
No, I'm not sitting.
And if you want to sit down, we can check. So if you sat down.
All right. I just sat down.
I almost fell.
What do you think, guys?
Anthony, you
know
look
what?
great.
That's actually where I'm used to seeing you.
You're funny, Jamie.
No, you sit down all the time.
Beat the streak. Biggest question of the day. Next on 101 ESPN. The Missouri Athletic Club, it's perfect during the summertime. Love heading down to the downtown clubhouse, going to a Cardinals game. It's been a little rough, watching these Cardinals, but I still enjoy it. Well, Jamie, yeah, they've been losing a lot. But what's nice is heading down to the MAC, having an opportunity to park there, taking the shuttle, Jamie, over to Busch Stadium, and then going back and then hitting up the Jack Buck Grill for some sodas, a lot of sodas. Anyways, the MAC is always there for me, especially after a Cardinals loss. That's my MAC, and that's the Missouri Athletic Club.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals looking to get back in the win column as they lost to the Miami Marlins yesterday by a final score of 15-2. Adam Wainwright on the mound yesterday went 3 1/3, gave up 7 hits, 7 runs, 4 of those being earned runs. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Tonight, Matthew Liberatore has the opportunity to get the Cards back in that win column going up against Brian Hoeing. 5:40 first pitch. We talked earlier today with Kevin Hayes, your newest St. Louis Blue. If you missed that interview or our other interviews with Jason Isringhausen and Jeremy Rutherford, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or use the 101 mobile app. You can find all of the interviews, including the full show there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have Beat the Streak and Biggest Question of the Day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I want to hit baseballs. All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh, and Josh rejoins us for Beat the Streak. Unfortunately, we had a rain out last Friday.
Oh, that's right.
Marsh, why don't you go ahead and update us on those standings?
All right, guys. So, of course, Josh, who joined us last Friday, he's at 0 still. I'm at 0. Anthony, you have quite the streak going on right now. You are at, I believe you're at 8, which is your highest streak. And right now, Jamie is at 5.
So it'll go me, Jamie, Tim, or Josh, and Marsh, correct?
Yes.
All right. Josh, welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I got as Marsh noted, I got the streak going on here. I'm gonna go out on a bit of a limb. I am gonna take a Marlin. I'm gonna take Luis Ariz.
Yeah, of course.
Who's hitting about 400. So I'm gonna take Luis Ariz.
RL Chalk
to get a
still in
base
the
hit.
building.
To get a base hit. So, Jamie, who's your guy?
I don't know.
I'm picturing the scene from Anchorman now. Ron, are you paying attention? No.
No. I'm going to go with Lars Newbar.
Why?
Why not? Why not?
What?
I was going to go with Donovan, but he's half hurt, so forget that.
By the way, Tommy Edman has been scratched. Tommy Edman has been
He have a
scratched.
cat?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
What happened to him?
I don't know these people.
You mean, scratched from the game?
Yeah.
I thought he was just scratched. I'm like,
No.
what happened?
I don't know.
Right.
Dylan Carlson will be in right. Tommy Edman scratched. Carlson goes into the 9 spot where Tommy Edman was. Dylan Carlson's going to be in right. The Newt shifts to center field.
Okay.
There you go. All right, Josh, you're up.
All right, I think I'll go with Paul Goldschmidt.
All right, you got Goldie. Marsh.
I'm going to go with the Solar Flare.
Oh, boy.
He's hitting .317 against lefties and has been doing quite well against the Cards over the past few days.
Yeah, what does he do? What did he do yesterday, Marsh?
Anthony, do you really want me to say it on the air?
No.
I'll say it right now.
No, just don't.
He went 3 for 4.
Oh, boy.
2 ribbies. Walked.
So he's productive.
Yeah, he did strike out 1 time, so there's that. But he had 5 plate appearances in that one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so that's your Beat the Streak. I got Luis Ariz. Jamie took the Newt.
Uh-huh.
Josh went with Paul Goldschmidt, and Marsh went with Jorge Soler. There you have it. All right, Josh, hopefully we'll talk to you tomorrow, man.
Sounds good.
All right, so again, according to John Denton, Tommy Edman was scratched from tonight's starting lineup. Don't know the answer as to why. Dylan Carlson goes into the lineup at number 9, and we'll play right field. Lars Newbar shifts from right field to center field. So there you have it. Time for the biggest question of the day.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
All right, guys, we get a question from John, and the question from John is, Adam Wainwright, what is his immediate future, and who gets the opportunity in Waino's absence?
Jamie, I think you and I are in lockstep on the Wainwright situation. He has not pitched his last game for the Cardinals. They did what they had to do. They say, all right, let's call this thing. You got the All-Star break coming up, so he can get a couple of weeks off. Maybe the rest will do him some good. You get through the rest of the season, and at some point, he wins 2 more games, he gets to 200, and you properly send Adam Wainwright off into retirement. That's what I think hit that part of that question. I think that's the Waino part.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's the only way to go about it. I think Waino has to get himself right or figure out what right is for him at this point. Battle away. We had Jason Isringhausen on earlier today, and he even suggested, Waino coming in like 5th, 6th, 7th inning in a tie game to get a win via that way, where a team breaks the tie to win the game. Not exactly optimum, but nonetheless, you're looking to try and get him those wins at this point. I feel like it's not that you owe it to Adam Wainwright, but you kind of owe it to Adam Wainwright too, especially in a down season like the Cardinals are having, to let him figure out a way to get to 200. He's talked about 200 several times. For Adam Wainwright, that's a very important number. I think as an organization, you have to find a way to get him to that 200.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. So the other part of the question is who basically gets a shot. I hope that it's Zach Thompson. He was in the bullpen earlier in the year. He was pitching well. You sent him down to Memphis to get him stretched out because, as you noted earlier in the show, you didn't have anybody else ready to go. That's how much you're lacking in depth when it comes to starting pitching. So you send him down. He gets stretched out. Now he's back up. Give him a shot. Because you're going to need pitchers for next year. You're not going to be able to sign 4 guys, realistically.
No.
And hopefully they use some of the players that they have right now to get guys that are what I would describe as those 4A players. Those guys are either right on the cusp or they got a little bit of big league time, but they're still considered prospects. You get those guys in, and maybe they're starters for you next year. Not the same, but think of like when when Army acquired Verana and he acquired Kasperi Kapanen.
Yeah.
Now, those guys had a little bit more experience than what I'm kind of referring to. But guys that have not necessarily made it yet, but could still be a part of your future immediately. That's the way I'm viewing the trade deadline this year.
Yeah,
but I hope
agree.
it's Zach Thompson that gets a shot.
I hope it's Zach Thompson as well. I have a feeling, though, it's going to be Dakota Hudson. I just feel like that's their default package.
That's nice. You haven't seen what you got out of him yet.
Anthony, I understand. But the question is, what do I think the Cardinals?
I'm disgusted by you.
That's fine. I think that Dakota Hudson's kind of always the fallback plan on all these things. And so I think that that's kind of what they're going to do, and that Zach Thompson may get some innings in relief. I know that sounds crazy, but I could see a Dakota Hudson starting, Zach Thompson piggybacking, and get both those guys some innings that way. Is that the way I would do it? Probably not. I think at this point, you have to see what you have. And Zach Thompson being one of those guys, you have to see what you have. I feel like the Cardinals won't do that.
No, I agree. The Cardinals are going to be like, well, we need to give Dakota Hudson a chance and Jake Woodford a chance. We don't know what we have in them. Well, that's the problem.
Isn't it wild that he has just not been on this team for the majority of the season? April 30th was the last time that he pitched in a Cardinal uniform, and that was against the Dodgers. I mean, I feel like they could have used him. And they're looking too far out front for next year. And I think it's bitten them in the rear.
Yeah. Yeah, to say the least, Marsh. To say the least. All right. What you missed? Criticisms, compliments next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Fellas, are you paying too much right now for your ED meds? Well, you probably are. The little blue pill or those chewy things and all that. Yeah, forget about that. Get over to the medicine shop in St. Charles. They've got a generic called Sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Prescription is required, but they're going to take great care of you over at the medicine shop. Full pharmacy, by the way. Anything you need from your local pharmacy, they've got you covered. They love helping people out, too. The customer service for them is very important. It's privately owned, so their word or the way they treat people and word of mouth is exactly how they survive, and they take a lot of pride in doing so. Please tell them, if you get in there, that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They're going to do everything they possibly can to make sure that you leave there happy and satisfied. Another great program from the medicine shop in St. Charles is they offer free discreet shipping and delivery of your medicines to your home or your workplace. So if you got a crazy schedule or life is just getting the best of you right now, call the medicine shop in St. Charles, get set up for their shipping and delivery, and you arrive home and it's just waiting there for you. It's a great program. I take advantage of it all the time. So please, again, stop by in person, check out the pharmacy. They're awesome people. But if you can't do that, at least check them out online at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
If you missed anything from today's show, you can download the podcast at 101ESPN.com or head to your 101 ESPN mobile app. It's there as well. And we're on YouTube now. First show in the books with the cameras on at 101 ESPN STL on YouTube. That's our YouTube channel, so you can check out the show there. Moving forward on 101ESPN.com, on our show page, that's where a lot of the videos will be posted after today. There you have it. By the way, our podcasts all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Cardinals got a little something going there in Miami right now. First inning, while there's 2 outs, bases are jammed, and Jamie is trying to look up to see if his guy...
Nah, he walked.
Oh, walks don't count. And beat the streak. He's got the newt. All right, Marsh, what do you got for criticisms and compliments?
Yeah, let's start off with the one that we just got not too long ago. We teased it. So this is from the 618. It's tiresome on the fast lane that they have 10 or 15 minutes of intelligent talk and then 10 or 15 minutes of adult, we'll just say goofy time, being goofy.
Jamie, your thoughts on that?
This is surprising.
It's kind of the show, is what I was thinking.
If they're tuning in for the first time today,
yeah,
I understand it. But if they listen on a regular basis, I don't. We've told the listeners before, we're bringing you into our circle at the end of the bar where we're enjoying our evening. We're talking sports. We're talking whatever comes up. We argue, we agree, we disagree, we do this, we do that. We make fun of each other. We tell jokes. This is the fast lane. It's not just sports. But when you do get the sports, you're going to get it real good. We're going to give that sports to you real good.
Don't forget about real hard.
Yeah. BT,
hard hitting.
BT, he brings that baseball right in your face.
He does. Yep.
He's excellent.
And Jamie puts that hockey right in your ear.
There you go.
Yeah, he does.
And then whatever happens in between that, we don't know. It's not scripted.
No, that's basically the show. It's kind of like saying, "Hey, Breaking Bad, I really enjoy it, but
Oh, careful with the spoiler alerts, Anthony.
Never mind, you get the point."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's like here's a Better Call Saul, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like
I'm into that right now.
I like
season 2.
I like Better Call Saul with all the lawyer stuff, but I don't like when they go do all the underground, drug kingpin stuff.
Yeah, stick to your lawyer stuff.
Stick to the lawyer. That's the show.
Yeah.
Who would ever say that?
Right. It's like, I like Chicago Fire, except for the fire part.
You liked the Chicago Fire?
I don't know. No. The
Are you
TV
serious?
show. The TV show.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the soccer
Actually, I've
team.
never seen the show. I just thought it was
Gotcha.
easier.
I thought you were talking about the soccer team, Anthony.
No,
I thought
isn't
we were
that
going
a
to
TV show? The Chicago Fire?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, thanks for listening.
Absolutely. And watching.
Yeah.
From 314. Guys, only request with the YouTube channel. Don't let Jamie come to work in the Speedo. That's from Sharon.
Sharon, that's not true. Sharon, you like it. You know. She knows. I'm a man's man. Afraid to throw the Speedo on. Doesn't bother me. No shame in my game.
Yeah. No doubt.
What? Seriously.
From the 636.
People who say they don't like it are lying. They are lying or they're jealous. And I don't believe Sharon to be jealous.
No. She doesn't have that jealous bone in her body.
Nope. You're correct.
From the 636. Nothing says strong lineup like the third batter being a 5-homer, 250 hitting mediocre player. Are we laughing because it's...
We're laughing because it's true and it's sad, and we have no choice but to laugh right now.
I don't like the mediocre player part. It kind of makes me sad because I'm a big Newt fan, but I mean, there's some truth to that text.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. This team's going to turn it around at some point.
True.
From YouTube, Diana, love this format, guys. I'm sure it's a little strange for you.
It was for me. Jamie's been on camera before, so I don't know.
Several.
Yeah, good point. You're comfortable.
Very. Mind that camera right there, right in front of me like that?
It is right here.
It's right in my grill.
Yeah.
Also from YouTube, this is from Jacob. I look forward to Stalter's first rant on video.
We might have to turn the
Maybe
cameras
tomorrow.
off.
Yeah.
We already saw Anthony throw a chair today.
That's tame.
I did go for a wide shot because I can control like what's going on, and some of the viewers on YouTube can kind of see what's going on back here. But I can change the camera. So when you went to go throw the chair, I wanted to pick, I wanted to gather the aftermath of the chair throw. So I went to the wide shot, which I can go to right now.
Did you get it, Marsh?
Yeah. So we're on a wide shot right now.
Are you saying you had to go to the wide shot to get Anthony?
Just to get the chair throw.
How do you feel about that?
I feel good because Luis Rice just got a hit.
And here we are on live air in St. Louis, and Anthony's cheering for the other team.
I'm cheering for my beat the streak. I just went up to 9.
You got a double, actually.
Did I say single? I said hit.
No, you said hit. I just specified what it was.
Oh, okay.
So,
whatever.
From David, what a great way to listen to the show. I hope it lasts.
The show or the cameras?
The cameras will be here long after we are.
Yep. The cameras add a new. We did not really do like some of the fast lane antics. They just didn't come up.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. The stuff that the cameras
for sure
are gonna like.
I thought we were fairly normal.
That's what I'm saying.
It's gonna organically happen.
Yeah,
you're right.
We don't plan anything.
No, you can't.
No. From 314, Anthony looks like a young, smarter, better-looking version of John Mozeliak.
Oh.
Boy, I don't know how to take that.
Wow, that has a lot of spice on it.
Yeah,
part of that I was okay with. Part of that I was not.
Well, you were feeling really good about yourself.
I was
to the
for
very
about 7 seconds there.
To the very end.
Yeah.
7 seconds, that's about right.
For what, Jamie?
Until you feel disappointment.
Oh, okay. Me or?
Oh, you know.
Yeah.
Whoever's with you.
Makes sense.
Interesting.
Good job, Mo.
Thanks.
I'm
not Mo.
Oh, you are.
Half this team would be traded at the deadline if I was in charge.
That's true.
Oh.
Nobody's safe, Marsh. Nobody.
Here we go.
No, that's the slogan.
Here we go.
Of the fast lane. We tried to come up with some band names for Adam Wainwright and Ryan O'Reilly. From Marsh's burner account, The Elderly is one of them.
Elderly?
It's kind of mean.
It's kind of mean.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
From 314, I actually like this one. It actually sounds like a band name. The Wicked Curves.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I like that.
That's the winner so far.
I think so.
Huh.
We'll end it on that note.
Okay.
We'll end it on that note.
I still liked Big League Factor.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Oh, it's really good. Solid.
Yeah, I don't think Miles Michaelis would like it, but
Oh,
no,
we don't
he
listen
doesn't.
to him anymore. He didn't even like a good nickname.
Yeah. That's fine.
Moose was quality.
Yeah. All right. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody watching today. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Break down another Cardinals loss because of the bullpen. Instant replay coming up right now for Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya.